打了，
好像没有机会，有电法，
已经斩杀了。双滚不够吧？大姐。
这里恭喜 Kicks。
行吧，他就跟人家换费用。
但是也没用，但是这个家居对上你看，
一个滚筒过去，2个 AC 全
确实练过，确实练过的，
肯定是练过的。哇，没费了，
没费了，
锁塔了，而且左边还能再拉一下这个绿巨人，不用拉了都。那这样的话2比0了，他没排下，他得过牌。哎，这波地震
有地震很壮啊！
对的，这波应该要给他打的差不多了，说实话，我给他打差不多了。
地震。 只要盯着建筑震，
应该右下那个位置吧？哦，像这里，奶都还奶起来了，1炮2炮，
哎，恭喜海尔！
对，在1v1扳回来了，我来了，这波不好解啊。
看这个天使能撑多少时间？
他电法又这样。
对呀，这电法怎么下在黄毛堆里面啊？
对的，那没了，这打很多血。
没了，防不住了，守不住了。
那这样的话，恭喜。
看一下 ，WED 再看，开心，
喷到他了，
收他了，恭喜豆豆，
对，恭喜 WED。那这样 Kicks 也是很可惜啊。好，这边就屯兵，你毒药我就奶。那这样的话又是飓风火球啊，好像这个套路是不错。
对的，因为飓风放出来的时候，天狗、小狗炸的伤害其实很难打。
那这把的话没什么机会了，因为还有大闪。 双地狱龙，好像还行。那双地龙就是用来，因为你是毒药加大闪，又来了，这波墓园很关键。小皮卡防，那他这个要掉很多血。毒药不够，
血量
不够，伤害能不能摸？小剑点一下，只差3点。天哪，这把太刺激了！
是的，
就我们也不能解说做什么了，就只能在那看，因为他是有天降正义的，毒也是可以的。 太难受了，这边毒药一交，我这个电法就无敌了，王嘉里，太难打了。
这个电塔真的是无法逾越，
真的无法逾越，根本过不去。而且关键还有个天降正义，好不容易下2条龙吧，被做掉。好，这边杰克已经用毒药进攻了。那这样的话是恭喜 Five Gaming 啊，那这样的话他们在下一周的对手就是 Nova。 但是这波能防住吗？费好像有点不够。哎，这边电法费不够了。这边要换了，好像要换路了吗？炸弹塔，哎，炸弹塔还不错，但是奶豆锁了塔了，地狱龙。这天哪，这地狱龙锁塔了。
对，刚那个猎人感觉下的没有下好，因为他们防守的时候说白就只有大闪把后排解了之后就把家就给吃掉了。
27秒，还有电法，他还有电法，
但是这后排解不了
了。
对，但是后排解不了。
有一个雪球，看一下踩超旗吗？应该是踩电法，那还不错。
这电法那没了。是的，这电法
还交毒药。那这样的话应该带走了。
是的，那应该守不住。
对的。可以看到门神还是更稳一点。这样的话拉引时间很紧。这边又是黄毛房子嘛，黄毛房子有费。直接一个火球，右边打了很多血，1200。 那这样的话，恭喜婉哥，也是恭喜 WEG， 也是进入到了全球总决赛。这波血先吸，
就忍不住这个诱惑，
但是有羊是可以不下去了。
对，
来看一下冰不冰，
还是下去。
看一下这电法。 电法死了，好像。
哎，有机会！
这个冰很漂亮啊，
看能
直接把羊给冰住了，
能贴就行，
直接赢了。
再来一下，
直接赢了。350，哎，右左边，
再来一下，
左边，哇，左边差一点点。还很难解啊，
这波进攻。 哎，这火球还交失误了，
有点下盘，
感觉炸了
糊了呀。
是的，留下没有杀到，
还跑了。
他应该左边
基本上接定破塔，而且还有一个牢笼。
是的。
来了，然 后加奶豆加地震无脑下，你又没滚木的，这波打很多血啊！看一下奶起来了，哎呀，
这个雪球
可以，还是出黄牙猪。哎，这边漏了一只啊，这个很关键，这个黄牙猪打很多血啊，盖洛特这边乱了。
这波他到底顶还是不顶？
看他是狂暴还是大闪啊？这波大闪就有机会了。哎，这波可以闪，闪到3个单位，直接进去绿巨人。这波打很多伤害，机甲稍微有点多，哎也行吧。轰没轰到，我还真没看到。其实就站在塔旁边啊，而且 AC 又没保住啊。布丽萨的心态出现了，
是的。那这波
也能
有点难受。对，
直接爆木源扛住，很漂亮。
是的。
哦，这个扛住太关键了。
对的，否则这个有。 他手到骑士的话，可以打很多血。
对的，但是这个看一下木源加毒药能打多少伤害？
对，现在非常关键了，
而且还能再木一波，直接大闪，又来了，这波木源很关键。小皮卡防，那他这个要掉很多血，能不能摸？小剑点一下，只差3点。 这血量，哎，这没废了，
憋大电，手里有大电哦。
哎，他不憋大电了，
不憋大电，硬来了。
电塔，这电塔，哎呦，这骑士怎么把鱼钩勾在那里啊？这波还是要叫大电，最后哇，
这个家具血量很安全，
直接大电预判。对的，直接大电预判。
这里松懈猛扫就翻回。
Welcome to Clan Wars 2! Your journey begins here. And what the...
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt
As I was saying... Oh, wait! Hello? Everyone seems to have left. The king should never row himself. I'll just wait here, so send someone to get me.
是要滚木斩杀吗？还是接水球预判吗？
마법들도 있고요. 파이어볼 만들어면 네, 마무리됐습니다.
Still, the baby dragons are alive, and that's the ground roller.
他这个套系就进来。
好，拿到了3星。
恭喜 TDG 啊！
スイープを回して KK 選手勝ち切りました。Be careful, but still, Cannon.
That tower was down so quickly.
再加一个滚墨，
斩杀了
恭喜一下 WEGM。
2, and that's it. 3-0 Grand Finals. Bob is your Clash Royale League East champion. Nova Esports.
타이밍간의 경기는 오히려 탈론이었다.
PTG となりました。Hit game W. 優勝はハブゲーミング。
クラロワリーグイーストこのワンサイズ中流赛バイシーズン頑張ります。このシーズングイースト頑張ります。
ファイティング。
Welcome everyone to the final weekend of Clash Royale League East full season. My name is Simon. With me, as always, G-Clef.
Thanks.
It has been nearly 10 weeks. I think this is week number 10.
It is.
Of absolutely
11 to be exact. Last week was week 10.
Oh man, I feel old. It has been some of the most intense, some of the most skillful, some skillless plays we have seen in Clash Royale. It has been a long road to get here. And honestly, I was not expecting two of these teams to get this far.
Okay, name me those teams. I want to know right now.
Fav,
Okay.
WEDGM.
Okay.
After week 4 or 5,
Okay.
I was expecting them to be way down the list. They did not have good seasons. Somehow they scraped through into the playoffs. And then suddenly they're both looking like great teams again.
Yep, just another day of CR. No, not just another day. It's the second to the final day of the season. It's been
It's the penultimate
very,
day.
very long season. Like, I think this is the longest that we've ever had for CRL East or Asia and combined for the last 2-3 years. And we are down right in the middle, right there. Bob Gaming, Nova Esports. Down below, WEDGM versus Ponos. Those two best of 5 matches are going to be played today. And then we have the losers tomorrow. The winners, of course, that's going to be the finals. Final 2 teams. Losers, it's for the placement, 3rd, 4th placement. And they're still going to Worlds, so it's going to be about the seeding that matters.
Yeah, all 4 teams that you will see today are going to be the East representatives going to that Worlds tournament.
Yeah.
But if they lose today, they're not going home. As you said, 3rd place match will be coming up tomorrow before the grand final. Today's matches, it's going to be Nova versus Fav, Ponos versus WEDGM. Now, Nova and Ponos have not played Clash Royale League. I was going to say, they
Not playing Clash Royale?
They haven't played Clash Royale League in a few weeks. Is that going to affect them coming into today? Like, we know they do practice, but they didn't know who their opponents were going to be until the same time that these two teams knew who their opponents were going to be.
I don't think so, because they play the game all the time, and if this was a continuous momentum, like Friday, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for like 4 days, final weekend to wrap everything up, then maybe. But it's a fresh weekend. All the teams had at least a week of break or plus, so I don't think it's going to affect Nova or Ponos too much of a longer break.
Okay, I'm on the opposite side of the fence. I think it might take a few games, not sets, but games to knock off that rust. But you see there, number 3, if Nova wins, they'll be in the grand finals for the 5th time in 6 seasons. That's absolutely insane. But if Fav wins, They'll be in the grand finals 3 times in a row.
And they're also the defending champions, so they can totally take both championships of 2020. That's that can be FAV.
And for Asia last year, they finished 2nd, where everyone thought, this is why I think Nova are going to have a bit of a time warming up, because FAV was so dominant in that last season of Asia. They were the winners bracket finals. They took a break because everything else was playing out. When they got to that finals, they were nowhere near as good as they were at the end of the season. It is a factor.
What you're saying is totally true. Nova Esports last season in the special season, they broke apart in the playoff, and that was their first day of playoffs.
Yeah, they went out first.
But it is a total different roster. This time their best of 5 looks totally solid. Already see the roster for 2v2. That was, I believe, AUK and LCUP. That should be the pair for Nova Esports. And here we have Jack and Kitasha for FAV Gaming. No surprise for either team.
Yeah, both teams bringing out their easily strongest 2v2 pairings. LCUP and AUK are... Hold on, I need to count because they've played with other people. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, I like
4 and 1. 4 and 1, whereas Jack and Katassian are 8 and 3.
Yep, they're both pretty good pairs. Not just pretty good, really high up in the league. That's exactly the reason why they're in top 4 right now. And there's a balloon ban. That's a smart choice against FAV Gaming, I think. That it leaves Tornado and Freeze and every other spell open, and a giant skeleton.
Yeah, the giant skeleton.
Where are we going with these bans?
We'll be seeing RG.
Just the RG without the giant skeleton?
In my head, RG means Royal Ghost and Royal Giant, Royal Ghost.
Okay.
I think we'll be seeing something maybe bridge spammy. Lava Hound could come into play.
I think we'll see lots of lava miners. That's what I feel. Just like last week when we had giant skeleton balloon.
Yeah. Well, we'll see as we are soon getting into game 1 of this 2v2. AUK and LCUP in blue at the bottom. Jack and Katassian in red at the top. What does this game have in store? Will it be the explosive start of these final matches?
Oh yes, we've seen
some time.
Yeah, we've seen some 3-0s, not too many, but it can still happen in the semis. Ooh, Skeleton Dragon, which we don't really see as much after the nerf.
This is the thing, it's fallen out of the meta, but Nova haven't played since the nerf.
No, I don't think it matters that much. Come on, let's see a little bit more. We've seen some Mega Knight plus the minor combination from the west, but certainly not as much from the east.
Inferno Dragon.
They did some Mega Knight combination with the air. Pretty good rocket.
But that Mega Knight is kind of free.
Pekka.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
That is very interesting. We see Elsie up there leaking quite a bit of elixir. Not sure where he was going to go against this Pekka.
It's the easy drag, so the Pekka still gets a swing on to the Mega Knight.
Mega Minion, one of the biggest winners of the last balance update, as it has replaced Musketeer in quite a few decks. The Inferno Tower makes light work of that Mega Knight and is going to do the same to the Musketeer.
Bob, again, we've seen some more Inferno Towers coming up, especially in 2v2 because of a lot of Earthquakes. This being a pretty good spell against all the 4 Elixir building cards.
Yeah, Mega Knight, Ram Rider. Now, I think every time this comes up, me and you both talk about one of the negative effects of running Ram Rider Mega Knight, which is the Ram Rider can often get stuck behind the Mega Knight and not be able to find a way through and just sit there taking damage.
Oh, but the lightning timing was pretty good, but Pekka comes just in time. It is snared, but still the shot goes in, so no direct damage, but the lightning has been going into the tower. Yeah, and a spin from Valkyrie there.
And this graveyard is great timing. The Pekka is going to sit there and just tank all that tower damage. Musketeer played deep at the back, trying to do what it can, and what it does is a great job at defending there, but still down to 1505 on that bottom left-hand tower.
Nova takes a lot more from just one attack of Graveyard again. This time with the tank, which is the Pekka. Now going against the Inferno. Good spawn of that Valkyrie right in the middle. And a defensive freeze from Bob.
Yeah, knowing that they could spend that for elixir and not end up like elixir negative in those trades. And it's worth throwing it out because they don't need to push too hard, but this is a nice counterattack coming down the right-hand side. The Mega Knight, the Ram Rider are there, and there's nothing to stop that Ram Rider, and it connects as the P.E.K.K.A. slowly lumbers over. That Ram Rider goes massively ham into that tower. Tornado to pull it back.
Just a tornado?
But the Skeleton Dragons are there. There's 7 elixir for Jack. What is he using it for? Everything starts to come down, but another Ram Rider loaded up by Nova. It's starting to fall apart at the seams.
There's arrows.
For Fav Gaming. There's an Inferno Dragon on the left. It's raged up.
That tower's gone.
That was such a slow build-up. Nova looked rough. They were playing and playing. They were taking damage. And then Fav Gaming's wheels fell off the truck and they just took too much damage.
Yo, Simon, do you think that freeze could have caught both? The defensive freeze at the end.
I didn't quite see the positioning. I think it would have been if it was over a little bit more, but maybe by the time they positioned that, the Ram Rider would be out of range. But that was one of the quickest turnarounds, and it came from that P.E.K.K.A. play. They played the P.E.K.K.A., it slowly lumbers across. There's a huge counterattack on that right-hand side with the Mega Knight and the Ram Rider, and Fav Gaming were scrambling for anything to defend it.
And P.E.K.K.A. actually had lots of good targets. Fisherman, Musketeer, a lot of those single target units were the right target for P.E.K.K.A. So ever since Nova switched off to the right, this is the important part. P.E.K.K.A. just marched, Inferno melts, Mega Knight still taking the damage. Ram Rider's still alive. I mean, everything just fell apart on the right.
Yeah, Nova kind of caught Fav with their pants down. Like, they were not ready for this kind of attack coming in.
Okay, Jack does have 4, so if that was freeze there, maybe, but it was already too late, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Jack was sitting on a lot of elixir. He could have been maybe going through his cards quicker, trying to defend that, but I think he was like a deer in the headlights. He was just caught, didn't know what he was doing. Like, obviously he knows what he's doing, but wasn't quite sure what the most elixir effective play would be.
No, I
kind of got lost.
I hit a lot of deers and they have no clue what they're doing. I know exactly what. They don't know anything.
G-Clef the deer killer.
I'm sorry, guys, but I just had to say it. But Jack, still, that what seemed like a game that Fav could have had it. You know, they had Rocket to do some damage, maybe to get the Musketeer along with the tower, putting some damage. A little less than 400 now, but still, I think they had pretty much the right tools.
Well, the first minute and 50 seconds of that game was nothing but Fav. They were controlling well. They were getting damage in the towers. They were defending well. And then, yeah, that P.E.K.K.A., it comes down to that P.E.K.K.A. They put that 7 elixir down. It starts trundling down the left, and Nova go, all right, you're going to do that. We're going this way. And there was nothing that Fav could do.
They had Inferno, but after the initial Inferno, and I think another key was Lightning. Fav used that P.E.K.K.A. Maybe they thought the Lightning was coming down to delete that Inferno so that Ram could connect on the right. So Fav ended up using a little too much, expecting a Lightning to come, but Nova, after those 2 initial Lightning, I don't think they ever used it. I don't remember them using it
sparingly. But just thinking about it, a raged up Inferno Dragon finished a game in the pro scene. It's not very often we get to see that combination finish a tower from near full to 0 ever in professional, because usually there's something there to distract. Usually you'll have something to reset, and Fav really were just caught completely off guard. It's crazy that we just witnessed an Inferno Dragon do that.
And before that, the reason why is Mega Knight plus the Skeleton Dragons, which actually survived and did a lot of units, did a lot of damage to unit and also the tower.
Well, that first game, Nova Esports, AUK, and LCUp definitely shook off that rust by the time we got to the overtime And now they are looking incredibly deadly. It is going to be AUK and Elsie up in blue against Jack and Kitassian in red. And I mean, Jack and Kitassian, that was kind of a very shaky game from them that we don't usually see.
Of course, Fab, I think they totally have the teamwork. And their choice this time, it is Lava. With what on the ground? I think that's going to be the key keys. Nova is still after the nerf, using a lot of Musketeers.
We saw, I think it was Fav who went with Barbarian's mini P.E.K.K.A in 2v2 as well. So maybe we'll see Barbs and that mini P.E.K.K.A from Fav Gaming trying to defend this round. We'll see here Mega Knight again, and this might spell trouble because once again Fav have invested an absolute ton into this push. But no issues here. Mini P.E.K.K.A is there. And now, how are Nova going to deal with this? There's the Mega Knight to crush most of that ground.
Good heal, Spirit. Healing up there. Doesn't really do too much. Keeps the Lava Hound just a little bit more.
Connection into the tower on that Mega Knight, and Mega Minion now has a momentous task to try and get through that. It is down just before it can do anything to the Skeleton Dragons.
And no further damage after the jump. And Nova, they have a lot of anti-air defense, and especially because they have Inferno still and Musketeer. Against the pubs, it should be okay.
That Ram Rider's only going to break open the cage. We see Fav again loading up with another Lava Hound. They haven't got much done with these so far. Hopefully they can change that in this one. There's a lightning coming down on top of everything, but the Mega Knight eats one of the charges that I think was reserved for that Musketeer.
Exactly. That's the key. There was a connection from the Ram Rider. Musketeer survives and gets healed back again. Well played by Nova, keeping her alive.
Yeah, Fav really wanted that off the board with that lightning, but unfortunately the Mega Knight took that hit. So Nova can build again here. The Ram Rider is there. Mega Knight's going to take the cage. Before the Ram Rider can get anywhere near it, Tornado has to come in, but there's still nothing to stop that Ram Rider. Fireball. I think that might be tower, actually. 9-4-2. It is looking like a very difficult task for Fav to break across this river. Nova is shutting them down time and time again, and with the arrows.
Woo! E-Wiz comes down from the sky and needs a lot of those damaged air units. Altogether, Fav, they have double lava, but when it's about to cross, it's always being damaged, so they're trying both at the same time now. Will this be enough?
This is one of those desperation plays that we usually
Ground
see.
versus air right now.
The Baby Dragon deleted off of that tower, but the damage is coming through from these Lava Hounds. If Fav can stop the damage, Fireball. Oh no, this might just be it. Arrows.
Oh, just saving the day. Was ready for the second lava to break into pubs.
And that desperation double lava at the bridge actually working out for Fav Gaming here. It allowed them to just break through, but this time they're only going to load out one at the river because they've equalized the score.
Yeah, it gives a lot more power to the arrows. So U is down to get that Inferno down to close to no damage.
Mini P.E.K.K.A is underneath all of that air. Is it going to get distracted? It almost went coast to coast here.
The mini P.E.K.K.A almost did the damage, but there's the Mega Minion 133, the second swing. Fav Gaming grabs the second game, comes back big with the double lava.
And very much like game one, it looked like it was going one way until a Fav decision where it swings. This time it swung in their favor with that double Lava Hound at the bridge. Last time it went away from them with that P.E.K.K.A, but it seems like Fav Gaming's decisions against Nova's deck has more of an impact on the match than anything that Nova are doing.
I love how Fav changed their cycle into more ground heavy, not just against defense, not just against the Mega Knight and the Musketeer, the Ram Rider E-Wiz that were coming down with the Lumberjack Rage from Nova. Okay, instead of loading 2 lava, let's save that amount of elixir for 1 lava and bring a lot more from the ground. And Nova, they have some tools, but if they want to get that Mega Knight, then they're going to be lacking in the air defense.
And I mean, that kind of looked rough, but there was plenty of defense. Tornado came in, fireball, everything goes down. Arrows were on point there, deleting so many of those pups.
Yeah, here against the Ram. And the Lumberjack, the Mini P.E.K.K.A, Valkyrie. The ground units were actually putting on pressure. Cage comes just in time.
And not just that, it was the spread as well. That Mini P.E.K.K.A was played almost as far right as you can go for that left-hand lane. And spreading the units out like that makes it very hard to deal with because you have to reconsider where you're putting your units. That pressure and the positioning of the units there from Fav shows that they mean business today.
Yep, Nova, they were also not lacking, but in terms of elixir that they had at the moment, it was the perfect moment for Fav to use the lightning, so they get the cage down, the brawler down, and the musketeer immediately. So well timed by Fav Gaming there. This is 2v2.
It's been pretty good so far.
Why don't we have 2v2 best of 5? Just to make it better. Special set.
There are plenty of people out there who still don't think 2v2 belongs in the pro scene, but I tell you, it does make some of the craziest games we get to see because they can just play off each other. And Nova fans in the audience, no surprises there since it is in China. That's where we are. Well, we're not, but that's where the players are right now, Nova. And I mean, home team, Nova is easily one of the biggest institutions in mobile esports. And they have a huge following over in China.
Yeah, so they did have a lot of pressure in terms of having the fan being on stage. Same, I think it's similar for Fav Gaming, and in China, Japan, the fan base is just, it's crazy how many fans are out there in Japan and China for Clash. But let's see, what do you think the coach is going to say, the last words before you go into the game?
Do it.
Just do it?
Just do it.
I heard that from somewhere else.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sure that has never been thought of in marketing history. Anyway, here we go. Game 3 of this 2v2 between Nova and Fav. Nova took game 1 with a very decisive counterattack. Game 2 went the way of Fav Gaming with a very risky double lava at the bridge play.
Ooh, Fire Spirits.
What are we going to get in this one?
Just
Fire
lots of baits.
My mind is confused. Fire Spirits?
Or
is it the pro scene?
We've seen it. It's not the first time, but rare.
In 2v2 as well, though?
Oh, the night placement! Jack says no.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. You could see Jack go like,
he's like, that's okay.
Man.
It's not the worst thing in the world.
It's only not the worst thing because of what we've seen so far. It is looking like Nova are going to be playing that Mega Knight Ram deck again. Oh. If it was something like Graveyard, I mean, Kitasi would be kicking himself right now. The Dark Prince is a change up here.
Then a motorcycle. Ooh, all 3 actually goes down. I think Tasha was expecting 2 to go down and then a second hit from the 3rd. Spear Goblin there. Because of that, takes a few hits from the Dark Prince.
So it is going to be the Ram Rider deck.
Ram all day long.
Look at the speed on the Knight.
I know, exactly. It's not even moving a tile. So this is basically Fav's ultimate defense 2v2 deck. Relying on a lot of the spell damage that you get from mostly from the logs. And maybe even some rockets if they have it for EQ this time.
I mean, the question I have is, how are they expecting to damage towers with what they've shown so far? Just the EQ cycle?
EQ cycle, firecrackers.
Because the mortar in 2v2 is very rarely going to connect into a tower. So it is going to be a challenge. That Ram Rider doesn't get a connection, the firecracker. Just shutting it down before it managed to get a hit.
And again, spawn damage from the Mega Knight, as you can see. There's the rocket.
The age-old combo of Tornado and Rocket coming out of Fav there just to defend that down. Ooh, Spear Goblins coming down the right. They're so tricky to deal with when they're on their own because you do not want to invest elixir. And look at this, the Lumberjack is gonna just burn that rage in the middle of nothing, and that's a nice trade for Fav. As this Mega Knight does go down.
Just jump back and forth. And Fav defense is being solid right now. Like, no Rams are getting through, no Mega Knights are jumping into the tower.
Bit of spell damage coming in.
Ice Spirit goes down. So if they had King Tower activated, that would be just a little easier, even though it did not get a touch.
Yeah, bats again. Mortar Blade in the center. E-Wiz to get rid of those bats. Firecracker there is... Oh, and they eat a charge from the Dark Prince.
And E-Wiz shot directly in the tower. Okay, they're putting some Earthquake damage, though, to make it even.
They do have a very, very narrow lead, but there is a crack in this armor of Fav Gaming.
Okay, the defense is solid. About 100 lead. Ooh, actually not by much. No, actually in a somewhat of a lead.
Yeah, almost 30 lead. 28 right now. And there is 50 seconds remaining.
Fire Spirits doing some good spread damage, but they're just... No rocket this time, though. The Knight.
With both Rams coming into the mortar. What do Fav have left? They have no elixir left. They're just trying to hold on as much as possible. They eat a Ram shot.
Spells! 30 seconds left!
The lightning is absolutely huge.
Oh, lightning Fireball should do it. Arrow Lightning should do it. The rocket to change something. There is a Poison Tornado to pull everything, but Nova, they just have to cycle through next spells.
Yeah, and this has collapsed in on itself. Fav Gaming got to the triple elixir time, but the deck they were running just was not strong in that triple elixir period because they couldn't deal with the pressure that Nova were bringing in this game. In that matchup, Fav Gaming needed to finish it before triple elixir because Nova were not losing that.
Yeah, Nova, it seems as if they go to the finals, they might actually use this again. They seem very confident about this Mega Knight Ram Rider deck they brought. They're just switching through a couple of spells, like no arrows, with arrows sometimes. But basically, the combination stays the same.
I think the one issue I can see with this deck is if Giant Skeleton gets through the bans, you will have to change this deck. I think Giant Skeleton would just be too strong against it. But that lightning there, cleaning up the bats, which strangely was its most important function there because it allowed the Ram Riders to get an extra hit in.
Important moment was right before this, where Tornado was there to gather everything. But there was only a mortar, and then the rocket came down after. They spawned the Knight in the middle.
Yeah, I just don't know how I feel about mortar in general in 2v2, but in that matchup where you see Nova have played Mega Knight Ram Rider, Mega Knight Ram Rider, you wouldn't expect them to do the same thing.
I do like the deck, but when there are that many bodies with charging abilities and dashes, dash is only from Bandit, so never mind, but with that many charges, then Fav, they have both logs, but it forces out another 2 elixir on left and the right, so just to cancel the charges sometimes. So those are the extra costs that they had to do all the time, and at the same time they have to save up for some Tornado Rocket combination. So if they activated the King Tower, let's go if, I think they actually won the game.
I don't think they'd have won.
Because they would be able to connect, there was some logs to pull the Ram Rider back, because with the King Tower activated, 2 more cannon shots in the Ram Rider, just the Tornado is usually enough. And there was some extra spending because they were about to get a touch. Remember those moments.
It would have been close for sure. All right, King of the Hill is here, and as you can see, this is a very, very close one. Strangely, Kitassian has the highest win percentage rate in King of the Hill on Fav Gaming.
That's right.
Their essentially dedicated 2v2 player has one of the highest rates, and it is going to be CRS kicking us off against Kitassian.
Nice. Both won't really say the rock solid down players from history, but Kitassian actually not as much new to the scene compared to CRS, but he did not show up this many times. Before playoffs, before the final week, Kitassian didn't really play too much. CRS did play a lot more, but compared to Kitassian, he's a rookie in the league.
Well, I mean, Kitassian has been around forever, but it's always been 2v2. And he did get some time in the 1v1s last season. In the special season, he did win a 2v2 set. 1v1 set, sorry, he won 2-1. But yeah, now I like that they have put him kind of at the forefront of King of the Hill. I don't think they trust him enough in a best of 3, but when it's down to these best of 1s, he's been performing really well. CRS, on the other hand, has had an amazing debut season. I mean, he has played against some of the toughest opponents and come away with wins. I mean, he's swept Team Timing, he's swept Kicks, he's got wins against Ponos. I mean, the guy comes out and plays. He is incredibly strong. But this is Fav Gaming, and they have been sneaking wins where I feel they shouldn't have been getting wins. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to say, but Fav Gaming, they're a tricky opponent to go against. They're not one of the strongest teams. They're just hard to play against.
They're very hard. In terms of roster, a little bit easier to predict because of the smaller roster potential. Maybe Gitasha and Dragon Expo Master, that's my guess, I would say. But for Nova Esports, I have no clue who is going to be after CRS.
No, well, that is the joy of having a big team like Nova Esports, is that you just do not know which 3 they are going to throw out. But CRS is in the driving seat of this King of the Hill.
Ice Wiz. Is it the old Ice Wiz? Okay, with the HUD. Feeling something here.
Probably Graveyard. But we have seen some other Barb HUD uses. We've seen Royal Hogs, occasionally Balloons.
Some very heavy Golem decks that are out there. I don't think Kitashan is the style for
They
it.
have not been popular for some time.
Kenzameshi, yes.
That Golem deck you're referencing has not been used a lot. It was very popular when Barb HUD first got its buff, I believe, but then it really did fall off the wagon.
And guessing 3.6, 3.7 with the Musketeer here, with the Graveyard for CRS.
Same for Kitassian. Definitely Graveyards on both sides. And Kitassian reading the game, knowing where this is going, plops that Barb HUD right at the back, which makes it much easier to defend these Graveyards. And poison from CRS, not getting that much done. 2-3-5-0 on the tower.
Didn't take the Baby Dragon down, but still okay. The CRS's cycle is pretty quick. And got the damage into the HUD. That matters a lot to square out the elixir. Still for Kitashan, nothing crazy.
Feels like we're back in week 1 with this deck, I tell you. This matchup, 2 Graveyard with the Barb HUD.
This year has been Graveyard, basically. Graveyard and RG, those 2 are top.
And I mean, what better deck to play on Halloween than a Graveyard deck, you know? It's just how it is. Graveyard comes down from CRS. Tornado pulls everything back, which allows the Princess Tower to start connecting into that tower. Not much damage getting done to the tower again this time from CRS's push, but that's quite a lot of barbs. The Ice Wiz is trying to do what it can, but it does succumb to the poison. Kitassian loads up another Barb HUD, and that is very well defended. But the issue is Kitassian has been on the back foot beginning to end so far. when is he going to be the aggressor?
Yeah, that's exactly the point. CRS Musketeer doing so much work compared to the Baby Dragon Splash. So Kitachi this time getting some work done with. Ooh,
that is an excellent choice there by Kitachi, by CRS.
Oh, look at the damage. Even defensive tornado has to be pulled.
CRS going opposite lane from that Barb Hut is an absolute genius move here and gets rewarded as he takes a very, very sizable chunk out of that top left tower.
Kitachi. I feel like he would have used it already.
He hasn't had many bodies to cross the river, and I think he's just feeling the pressure that CRS has managed to throw on because, yeah, there's just no real window of opportunity for him to get it done.
Baby Dragon getting some flash work, but not enough to take all of them out. And of course, with the Barbarian that keeps the graveyard limited. Defensive poison has to be pulled out by Kitachi, and no Barb Hut to defend. That's on the left though.
That's a lot of bodies coming down the left. They are distracted here by the Knight. Baby Dragon's trying to do what it can to just chip away at everything. The Mega Minion is gonna go down as well, but the poison is gonna take out both Baby Dragon.
Yeah, great choice from CRS. Now, after that poison, I think he will just go on a defense mode and just have a defensive poison against Kitachan's graveyard. And if that's needed, because he's got the Barb Hub already set up all the way back. Units that are crossing the bridge, most of the time being won by CRS right now.
There are 20 seconds left in this match. And Kitachi decides to throw down that graveyard on the left-hand side. And I think this is curtain calls for Kitachi in this King of the Hill, because nothing is done with his own graveyard. 1875 goes up against under 1,000. CRS proving dominant in this one as Kitachi falls in the first game.
CRS knew exactly how to handle against the tornado. Always kept Musketeer off the board and pulled much more elixir required by Kitachi. Wanted to pull that tornado and the poison. So that's already 7 gone from his hand.
It's not just that. CRS knew that his deck was just more aggressive. He could just pile on pressure on Kitachi and pressure Kitachi not to put down those graveyards, not to stress the system. Like, he just played so aggressive. You look 5-3, but for Kitachi, all of those graveyards came in the last minute. The aggression was absolutely insane from CRS.
Yeah, CRS did such a good job keeping those Musketeers alive. You do see a lot of this deck with the Archer instead of the Musketeer, but with Mega Minion plus the Musketeer. Puts out so much damage. Sometimes the poison is not enough to grab everything.
And I mean, CRS's decision to go on that top left was just fantastic. I think he went with the Mega Minion to tank.
Not much. It was close to just the vanilla naked graveyard on the top left.
No, it wasn't. He had the Mega Minion up front. He had bodies there to protect it. When he switched to the left on that first push, he had bodies to go. He just threw down, I think it was Mega Minion. There was something else there. It might have been Musketeer. And then the graveyard. And he just went for it and got rewarded massively for that counterattack. And Kitachi scrambled to defend. And the problem is, when you're scrambling to defend, you cannot punish that counterattack.
Yeah, that's what we have in the meta right now. It's not just 1-2 graveyard deck. It's just all out there. Some even with some Barbaro, Ewiz, Inferno Drag, some less spells or different spells. Some Archers, some Musketeers, some with the Mega Minion, some without the Mega Minion. Instead, you put the Inferno sometimes or the Baby Dragon. So what kind of choice is the best? It's all due to the studies of who you faced against. Okay, this person's likely going to play some Ice Wizard, maybe a lot of Baby Dragons, so Musketeer should be good enough.
All right, so we're going into game 2. It's going to be CRS against Jack here. Can CRS take down his opponent. Now, CRS has not played against Fav Gaming all season. So this is the first time Fav have actually ran into CRS. And I mean, one of the issues is when he gets going, it takes a lot to stop him. CRS is very capable of just absolute blitzing through a team in King of the Hill.
Yes, CRS made lots of appearances. He was gone for only a few weeks, and except for those, he was always up for King of the Hill. And he's been putting up pretty good results, but against Jack today, and Jack has been bringing lots of off-meta decks closer to the classic decks that we have seen a long time ago, like the pickup balloon that we have seen from years ago. And some players were caught just using meta decks, expecting Jack to play something similar, or even the hogs that he's known for.
Yeah, he also played the minor wall breakers while carrying, I think it was Royal Delivery Tesla Poison. That was absolutely... He ended up losing with it in the King of the Hill, bringing it in the 1v1 set and just laying on a masterclass last week. But can he do it this time round? It is going to be Jack versus CRS. CRS gets game 1 against Kitasian. Can he close out game 2 for his team?
Oh, Snowball, is it finally hogs from Jack?
He is known as one of the greatest cycle players in the world.
So far, logged skeleton. Here we go.
Now, what else is he carrying with this Hog Rider? No hits there.
CRS also in a snowball. We've seen some snowball with the graveyard, but not with the heal.
Royal Hogs would be a very good guess, I think.
You see a lot less with the Knight for Royal Hog these days.
Poison.
There are some graveyard decks, but this is very uncommon to have heal and snowball.
Well, we'll have to see what is coming. Mega Minion played at the bridge. Is Jack gonna do anything to respond to this?
Yeah, CRS, it just looks like one more building, like the bomb tower and a graveyard. But a very rare spell choice.
There is the bomb tower, well read. G-Cliff. See, the bomb tower takes very good care.
Always
of
on
that
top.
Hog Rider.
But Jack, we always said, okay, there's always a potential of Hog Rider, but he never really used it at all this season.
Yes, not. I think he was on record early in the CRL saying that Hog Rider is essentially dead.
No, it always had some, like Hire was using some Hog Riders a week ago.
There was a period where Jack was saying that like Hog Rider just isn't that good. And here is one hit. He's gonna get 2. Oh, it's not 1982. He does have a lead though. Not by much, but there is a lead there. Very well defended from both sides. Hog Rider comes in. Bomb tower is gonna come down this time round.
And there's that EQ to get the slow ready, but CRS perfectly sniped deck here against Jack's potential Hog Rider. Having that snowball. Is it time? Is it the go sign? There it is. But no luck from the Princess Tower.
Yeah, so that's going to be very nicely defended. Log comes down, Skeleton's played at the back. The Musketeer is there sitting in the poison. The Hog Rider gets a hit on the bottom left. Just like that, Jack is controlling this one as we end the regular time and drop into overtime. There are 5 seconds left. Here we go. Next tower is the winner. Jack is in control, I would say, right now with his Hog Riders, but knowing that CRS has that bomb tower in cycle, he's going to be a little bit more hesitant to drop it. And what a read by Jack there. The bomb tower is going to make very good work of this graveyard with the Musketeer in the back as well. Mega Minion goes down, the bomb is there. One hit from a Skeleton, a couple hits, 1441 down to 1352.
Yeah,
I mean, Jack has the perfect control over
all
this
Jack has to do is cycle through that Earthquake to do the damage on the bottom left. And force out another bomb tower if CRS can actually get that cycle in. Offensive snowball. Not going to make that connection from the Hog.
Mega Minion on the left is going to connect into the tower.
This graveyard will be powerful though.
being dealt with very nicely, but just like that, the scores are tied. EQ comes in, giving Jack a very narrow lead as we enter triple elixir time now. This could go either way. Jack could be overwhelmed by graveyards from CRS. CRS could be overwhelmed by these Hog Riders. That's a very high bomb tower. Pulling that Hog Rider back up there, giving the Mega Minion a chance to do it, but this graveyard is going to get some work done. 919, it's going down, it's ticking down. 850, another Hog. Load it up. No bomb tower for this one. Snowball to push it back, but it is going to get a hit.
Oh, that gets a hit, and that's basically game. CRS, he has to go for the maximum push now. There's that Musketeer. And the Snowball providing slow, but the Snowball for the finish.
That Hog Rider ignoring that bomb tower right behind it was absolutely huge, and it ends up giving Jack the win here. He just right down that Hog Rider. Was very well played, and we see once again why Jack is considered the king of Cycle.
In terms of Cycle, Hog Rider a little cheaper, I would say. 2.8 is what Jack brought, I believe, and a little over 3 for CRS. In terms of Cycle, even Jack didn't even have to play that many Hogs. If you just cycle through spells and do Earthquake damage, that still actually got better, cheaper Cycle and still more damage from Jack. All the time.
That go time right there, those snowballs, and locking onto the tower with the bomb tower coming down slightly too late really did seal the deal. But I really like the idea, like how Jack found that window. He waited for the bomb tower to go almost be expired. Throws down his Hog Rider. Snowball really early to make sure it doesn't take the tower damage, to distract that Mega Minion a little bit so that it doesn't get that first swipe. So the Hog Rider can get into the tower is super smart. And even the snowballs from CRS were not enough to hold that back.
And who's that on the screen? Who's that on the stage?
I think it's...
Is it Rain? DK? I see AUK on top and LC up on top. Come on, let's zoom up. Oh. D-King, right?
It's been a long time since I've seen his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the CG trying to answer our question.
It's like, who is this, guys? Who is this, guys? Is it D-King?
It's the next level question.
It is indeed. All right, so game 1 went the way of Nova. Game 2 went the way of Fav. Can Jack bring game 3 and give his team an extra bump in this King of the Hill? It's going to be difficult for sure. His opponent is really, really good. King of the Hill 4-4. If it is D-King, he swept Team Timing in the first half of the season, then got a win against Rad. But since then, it's been losses, and he's only come out one time in the second half of the season, and that was against Talon's Geralt. And yeah, he's been kind of absent for quite a lot of this season.
Yeah, man. The worst thing is that Jack's Hog Rider was not stopped, which means he can always play Hog Riders. Then he will start to bring some other decks like the blue we saw from Bob. Not just I'm not just talking about the Bowler Freeze that they all brought one day. I think Wallbreaker is a pretty good deck to choose right now against D-King. Expecting D-King to play RG.
Yeah, I mean, could play Royal Hogs. He did. That was the last deck we actually saw D-King play, and that was against Geralt. He did end up losing that one, so probably not going to see it, but you never know. Maybe that's why he has been absent for so long.
Yeah, it feels like he hasn't been out forever.
He hasn't been out since Talon in King of the Hill. And his last time appearing in 2v2 was against Kickslide and Icelore with AUK in the second half of the season. So he has been around, just very absent from the rosters of Nova.
Heal Bar Barrel from D-King. That's RG.
Are you sure about that?
I'm not sure.
Do you want to put... Are you sure?
No, I said I'm not sure.
But you said with such confidence that Heal Spirit Bar Barrel is RG. The Ewiz still could be RG, yeah.
That's that's basically 3.5 RG with the Fisherman. that's my guess, DKing. Yes.
And this is where he throws us in a loop. Throws us in a loop, and it's actually Graveyard. Royal Ghost coming in. I guess that is an RG.
Yeah, with the Ghost, that's 3.4 now.
Tornado into the tower, getting that activation. So as it will be Royal Giant, that King Tower activation isn't the biggest thing. Still does come into play, but there are more pressing issues ahead. And there is the RG, the Hunter behind Ewiz to stop that Baby Dragon. The Ice Wiz is going to try to slow down that Royal Giant as much as possible. Cage is there. But the Hunter and Ewiz make light work of that, but the RG does go down. Ice Wiz is slowing things up.
Ooh, that's Jack.
That was a pretty good defense.
Not enough elixir to press it right now. But with the King Tower activated, against RG it doesn't really matter as much, but against the Royal Ghost, that actually might does. And Jack waiting for the double elixir time to match it for the Halloween.
So Baby Dragon just going to completely ignore the Ghost until it hits into that Ice Wizard. Fisherman pulls away the Knight. RG on the right-hand side though, as Jack was going left. Cage has to come in. Ewiz cleans everything up on the left-hand side. This Royal Giant does get healed up with the Heal Spirit, so it's going to get a shot. 2-1, 2-1 on the top right-hand tower, 2-1, 2-6 on the left. So Jack decides to throw down the Graveyard on the left-hand side. It's coming in, it's getting damage from the front end of things.
Way too much.
And now on the side too, the Hunter trying to do what it can, but its attack speed is so low, it cannot stop it alone. 1749 on that one.
Jack back in game with near full elixir. There's the Cage. Now the Ice Wiz all the way from the back bar barrel, but this is a pretty heavy push.
RG Tornado backwards as the Ice Wizard once again locks on and slows it down. No hits, and another Graveyard from Jack as a huge counter attack. The Fireball doesn't hit the Baby Dragon, I think, and more damage coming through from this Graveyard. Poison is down for Jack as well. That's going to make it very difficult. That Ewiz is very low as he crosses the bridge.
And still goes down because the Ghost comes out after the Princess Tower locks onto the Ewiz, but that Graveyard did a ton right there. And great spawns from the Skeletons too.
Yeah, some very good spawns on the side of Jack.
Taking now, feeling the pressure. Okay, there's always a potential of Tornado pulling it back, so I better be ready with the second RG that may actually be on the left too.
But that might be the go sign for Jack to have a dig on this tower and get that Graveyard up and running, but decides not to here. He needs to defend. That's priority number one. The Brawler with those big green fists helps shut down that RG, and no second RG from DKing. He just doesn't have the room to do it as Jack instantly pressures on this left-hand side. A couple of good spawns come in. Poison damage ticks up, 570 remains on that tower, and it's all going wrong for DKing here.
Yes, Jack is always being ready against the Ghost, against the RG. There's always the Cage. There's a Graveyard again and again. DKing ready with the Hunter only.
Yeah.
And even the Heal Spirit has to be down.
Jack using DKing's Fisherman to help bring that tank up front quicker for that Graveyard.
The Tornado!
That is that. Ewiz finishes it off. DKing goes down, and Jack takes the victory. As I was saying, Jack used DKing's Fisherman to get that Knight in, like, up front to tank for that Graveyard. That is some 4D chess plays right there. Using your opponent's cards against them, but superb.
Does 4D make chess harder, or is it the same as 2D chess? That's what I'm thinking right now. What? That doesn't make sense to me.
That's the question. All right, fine, let's move on. Okay, so 5 RGs and barely managed 1,000 damage into both towers. DKing just caught all out of sorts in this one, and I mean, you can see that the spawns on those Graveyards were really lucky. There's the Fisherman pull to provide that tank ever so slightly. The RG on the right did nothing
Yeah, the cage was always limiting it to 0 shots or just 1, while Jack's graveyard did a ton more. And Jack expected that Fisherman to come down to drag the Ice Wizard. And before that, Jack had to drop the Night Owl. And
he had to drop
anyhow,
it anyway,
because of the Ghost.
Yeah.
So Jack was winning like all kinds of trade on the left.
But I mean, Jack's skeletons were just MVPs there because they were coming at the right spot at the right time. It's like, oh, the hunter turned around.
Oh,
wouldn't it be funny if
yeah.
I spawned 2 skeletons behind it? And it connects into the tower. Phenomenal. Phenomenally lucky, but phenomenal nonetheless. I think Jack, even without that RNG on his side, would have won that game.
Yes, 100%. Because those RG going nowhere. And I think Fav Gaming, in terms of study the deck choice today, so far on King of the Hill, has been smiling a lot more. Like, I was very impressed from CRS having those snowballs in the graveyard. But because Jack was able to just bring a great cycle win again, it's been done twice. Can he do it again against possibly the best player from Nova, AUK?
AUK comes up. He is 6-5 in King of the Hill this season. Last time he played Jack, he did get the win. He played Graveyard with the Ice Wiz, Barb Barrel, NATO, Poison that we just saw Jack play. Yep. So maybe that was a statement from Jack being like, hey, I've already played that deck, you can't play it, mate. But between the two of them, it's really hard to say because AUK has beaten Jack before, but that was earlier on in the season, and I mean, Jack has definitely come into his own in the playoff period. It's not playoff Geralt levels, but he's definitely on an upswing.
In a deck choice, AUK is just variety. Royal Logs, I think most common out of all, but still not as common because he has so many different decks. But depending on how he feels, the form that he's in, which we were not able to see for the past few weeks, that's going to be the key. We know that Jack has been performing for the last 2 games in a great shape and form. Jack, he's up there right now, but AUK, is he still up there, or what is he exactly feeling? He's the last one from Nova, no LC up here. I'm guessing he's the best. He has to be the best if he's on the spot.
He has to be, but G-Clef, I just want to point out.
What is it, 4D chess?
No. When it comes to the playoff form, Jack in King of the Hill is 0-2 so far. Now he is 2-2. He lost the Light, lost the Geralt. His 1v1 record, he did beat Geralt 2-1, which got them here. He did lose to Benza Riddell 0-2, but Jack's one of those players who, even when he's playing bad, everyone just assumes he's playing great. Like,
You're not
he
wrong.
hasn't had the best of seasons thus far.
He doesn't look like a monster though in this season.
But he's always relatively solid, right? But I do think he has the potential here to close it against AUK. Miner comes out, Miner Wall Breakers with the Tesla delivery and balloon. And there are the Wall Breakers. Baby Dragon's going to help clean that up for AUK. Now, one of the things we've talked about AUK is he doesn't seem to lose to meta decks. But when it's a quirky deck, AUK always seems at sorts. So we'll see
Hogs.
if this deck is going to throw AUK in a loop.
Recruit Hog doesn't really have Baby Dragon, so maybe we'll Balloon.
Is it going to have the freeze? There's the delivery. Tesla is down as well.
Yeah, it's the Tesla, the Jack.
I mean, it's just so good defensively. For Elixir, it gets that kind of value. Absolutely insane.
Against the Balloon, it's always great.
Minor Wall Breakers coming in on the right, realizing the cannon card has been used. Both Wall Breakers deleted by one Hunter shot. The Miner's just going to get minor chip damage into that tower. 2294.
Yeah, for Jack 3.0, last card should be Wiz then. Getting that not so easy all the time. Skeleton split.
We're at the halfway point of regular time, and Jack has taken exactly 0 damage into his towers.
Cycles will be very quick. So the last 2. And with the Baby Dragon, can't have Flying Machine or the Magic Archer now. Or do you still? Guessing one's Heal Spirit and the other...
We'll see, the balloon is coming. The Tesla isn't
Oh,
going
the
to put
baby
it. The
pulls
Baby
it.
Dragon
Oh,
pushed it.
no! Jack feels it. And there's a freeze!
That
Oh,
is
Ewis is still not in there though.
Tower 861 remaining. That was huge. But can Jack counterattack here? The ball breakers do not get a connection. The Ewis is down. Poison is there. 589 goes against 1722, and it continues to tick down. Baby Dragon blocked the path of that balloon so that the Tesla could not get the pull in there.
Oh no, Jack is in a
Whole world of hurt, mate.
and a balloon on the left even doesn't really go for the death damage.
Freeze on the right.
Haha, looked for maybe a potential card connection there, but still it lands one on the left.
Jack knows he just has to hold on because his main
Defensive
priority
snowball?
right now is the right, but
Had to use the defensive snowball there.
I thought they were going to get a connection. I kind of lost all grasp of the English language right there. I thought they were going to get through. I completely forgot the snowball was in cycle.
I got you there, bro. Don't worry. But AUK, he has to look for some death damage though. Like the free snowball, they don't really do too much to the tower.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Maybe just to hold for the next 30 seconds, minute 30. That's okay, but the miner's going to chip.
Well, that's the whole point of this last part. Jack needs to finish. AUK can just defend. So two very different styles coming into this one.
The healthy Baby Dragon.
Push this time, the freeze comes down. Jack kind of knew it, but look at that. The Hunter finishes it on the cannon
balloon.
cart. The cannon cart finished it on the left-hand side. I thought the Hunter was going to do that, and Jack goes down, and AUK takes game 4.
Jack also must have been feeling it because very likely with the balloon, it's usually with lots of NATO, but with the recruits, usually just heal and snowball. There was no heal spirit to ever been used, so okay, has to be something else. Maybe not expecting a freeze from AUK. Like from other players, maybe yes, but AUK is a player who just stays near the meta decks.
Yeah, he very rarely deviates from the norm. And I mean, we have seen this deck around a little bit on ladder and in grand challenges, but it doesn't have the usual potency that we see from AUK decks.
Yeah, if that Eevee came down a little early and was also caught in freeze, maybe even worse.
We would not have got as far as we did, and even the counter attack shut down by that Hunter. Not a single wall breaker connection. AUK proving that defense is completely overpowered.
Yeah, right side or the left side, Jack. This time,
pulled apart. I think AUK there showed maybe in the offseason he's been practicing some quirkier decks instead of the standard Royal Hogs Mega Knight or the Royal Giant or the Royal Giant or the Royal Giant, or maybe even throw in a Royal Giant, because it has been a very strong season of Royal Giant, because it has been probably the card that has defined this tournament. That and Graveyard have been the two most potent cards we have seen. And AUK generally plays those strong decks. We have seen him play 2 or 3 Graveyard games as well.
Yep, and some Royal Hogs, especially the last season too, if you add that to account. But without Jack, surprisingly, it is not Expo Master. Hajime as the last player. Maybe Fav Gaming is holding Expo Master as the 1v1.
Say surprisingly, I mean, Hajime has had a very, very good season. Has played quite a few games. In King of the Hill, he is 13-8. And that includes the 3 wins in this playoff period where he took out Light of Kicks to finish that King of the Hill. And then just last Sunday, I think, took out Lion and Blizzard of Talon back to back. I mean, Hajime has been incredible in this playoff period. Undefeated so far. He 2-0'd Icelaw in the first week of the playoffs. King of the Hill is 3-0. Playoff Hajime might just be unbeatable. We've yet to see him lose.
Still the win rate, as I also included 2v2. But AUK is up there. And Hajime has to show up right now against possibly, I think, one of the top 4 or even 3 in the league as a solo player. That's AUK. And right after that, right after seeing a freeze spell being used by AUK, I would have no idea what he's going to play next.
Yeah, but Hajime is one of those players who is the aggressor. I think it won't matter as much of what AUK is playing unless it's a very hard counter.
I think Hajime is going to bring again those Graveyard RG? Or is today not exactly
it might be the Goblin
day?
Giant Sparky that he played against Blizzard. That would be one for the books. Also, Lava Miner he has played with the Flying Machine.
Lava is a good call too. Let's see. Game 5. Winner will bring the set to the team.
And it is an important set for Fav Gaming because they are currently 1-0 down in set score after that 2v2 loss. So really needing to bring this King of the Hill home is Hajime. Don't forget he is a rookie. Can he survive under the pressure of knowing his team might actually collapse if he loses here? We'll find out.
Yeah, maybe 4.0 and Zap. Lava from Hajime is a potential.
Balloon. Ewiz is going to be there. Just going to let that one go, I think. Testing the waters was Hajime.
Yes.
Bob's going to get into the tower. A couple of hits from that one.
Can't really take too much damage now as AUK has to be ready with the Graveyard 4.0.
There is the Lava Hound. What is he pairing with this? Does he bring the Night Witch?
Usually, there are some miners along with the Balloon. And mostly with the Barbarians, but we've seen some guards come out even from the west.
Actually, thinking about it, Lava Loon we have not seen in Asia very much at all.
Yeah, it was mostly Lava Miner with the cage.
So Lava Hound getting quite a bit of damage into the tower. 1857 still ticking down as the Pubs got a little bit of damage in there. Turned around. Valkyrie playing at the bridge. Graveyard comes down.
What a read. Still.
Oh, that fireball got so much value, but still some damage coming in. The Barb is going to get a couple of hits in too. And Hajime is down by about 50 to 60 damage here. Can this Valkyrie shoot through these yellow-haired barbarians? The Balloon is coming in. Expect Ewiz any moment. AUK has the Elixir Mega Minion, is there. Oh, the Balloon's not pushed over.
Oh, Zap there.
Great Zap. What a Zap. That damage comes in. Is anything else going to connect it to the tower? The Pubs decide it is not their business, but
AUK
Fireball.
has lost it.
Fireball will be enough-ish. The damage is creeping through from this graveyard. That is priority number 1 right now for Hajime. Another Barb getting in, 12-20 remaining. Zap Fireball will finish this, I think.
Has to get some more done. Yep, waiting for a Fireball, and that's game 5. Comes back, 1-1 set score now.
Hajime proving to be super valuable here. I mean, I know the damage numbers, but by gosh, like Hajime not playing it was very much like Moogie not playing it last week or a couple of weeks ago, where like Moogie didn't understand didn't know the actual damage and didn't put it down, and you start questioning yourself because you know they know it. But Hajime gets it done, closes it out. G-Clef, what do you make of it? Oh, Barb Hut was too far down. And I mean, you can see AUK here trying to push it across with the Mega Minion, with everything, but that Zap beautifully timed and was enough.
Yeah, even with the Barbot, one more tile up, Because Hajime had the zap, I think the connection was inevitable basically.
If the Barb Hut was one more up, the
would
Mega
drag.
Minion would have pushed the balloon into it.
Yep, balloon would actually be going towards the hut already. So I think that was basically not 100% blocking the balloon shot, but still with the zap. I think Hajime would have connected it anyhow. And that was just unlike that. And after the drop, AUK just lost it. I mean, he had some chances to drop that E-Wiz on top of Inferno, but just the poison, he was like, okay, I'll take the damage. You get my tower down to the spell damage, basically. And then I'll save up for 10, but he was actually leaking a little.
Yeah.
Didn't really have the timing down on himself. That's really rare to see from AUK.
It is, and when doubt creeps in, even in the slightest form, it is very hard to break through it. And if AUK doubted himself at that end part, I mean...
I love the Valkyrie choice.
It was
Guards,
great.
okay, but they go down to poison with just few ticks. Barbarians, they also go down to poison. How about a Valkyrie?
It was great, and it really did help with the Barbarians coming across the river. I mean, I like that choice. Right, it is 1v1 set time. Who do you send out for Nova? Who do you send out for
Little Chen?
Five?
I think there's a chance for Little Chen to play in the slot because he has been playing a lot of that 1v1 before playoffs. But LC Up is here.
Now this...
He looks a little different today.
New haircut, maybe? I think it's the hood. The yellow of the hood is lighting up his face a little bit more. I think that's what it is.
Jack.
All right, LC Up versus Jack. Wow, 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 wow.
Here we go.
Wow.
It's time.
It is, and don't forget, last time these two met in King of the Hill, Jack was the one to put down LC Up. And, oh, actually, hold on. They are 1-1 this season, LC Up and Jack. First half of the season, when Fav Gaming went 1-6, sorry. LC Up got the victory, but as Fav Gaming started their ascendancy reign, Jack got the better of LC Up. And right now, Fav are definitely in their ascendancy.
Man, and both players, you would love to play wall breakers. Both pretty quick cycle. Jack, no more for his Hog Rider, but also another extremely aggressive player, I would say. And LCOP is the same, with maybe extra snowballs, extra zap, just to put in one more touch from the Ram Rider, Royal Hogs, even his own Hog Rider sometimes. So this is surely an aggressive player from both sides.
LC Up this season in 1v1 sets only has the one match to his name. That was against Line of Talon, and he won that 2-0. But we've seen Jack play multiple 1v1s.
Feel it here? Little Chen, no hoodie, only the jersey. He's coming out.
Everyone who has played for Nova today has won a hoodie.
Okay.
I actually don't know if that's true, but it
What?
It put a cork in that one, didn't it, G-Clef? Put a cork in that one. Woo! You can see LC Up calming himself down. Now this is one of the players who 120% performs better in front of a crowd than he does playing alone. LC Up's special season, when there was no people in the audience, we had to play behind closed doors, did not play well. The day they opened the doors and there's an audience for the full season, he absolutely went on a tear, and you can tell that room will be popping for LC Up because LC Up is one of the most popular Chinese players, and it looks as though we're going to get one of the most classic of matchups.
Motorcycle versus Expo.
Exactly.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Skeleton. Barrel there.
So Expo versus Motorcycle. Essentially it is the El Clasico of matchups in Clash Royale, because both these decks have been very popular for a long time. The cannon card choice is absolutely
Yes. We've seen
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, we've seen some more cannon carts, but instead of the musketeer, so with the musketeer, this is something else that we're seeing.
Oh. Has he completely removed the spells in this deck, LCO?
Bar barrel.
Come on, man, that's not a spell. We have this discussion every time bar barrel comes up. Bar barrel is not a spell.
Like Spear Goblin is basically a spell. You get what I mean, right?
Not at all.
Okay,
oh, Ice Spirit not played correctly there, and Jack takes a couple of hits from that skeleton barrel.
You say a couple, that's 500.
Skeletons do an insane amount of
because
damage.
they instantly connect. Sort of like the balloon. They do a lot. A lot. So I think LCA was also thinking, instead of just putting the cannon card, like just Spear Goblins is not enough anti-air.
There's the Expo placed very centrally. Defensive positioning there. Cannon cart comes in, that's going to start chipping away that, but the archers come down to block that cannon cart. Just for a little while. Saltier needs to be stopped there. Cleaned up nicely.
Still target Expo a few times at least. It's not as hard. And now Jack, because he has to use these Tesla against the skeleton barrel, which is not bad, but the motor will be a problem because Jack, you would want to have Tesla locking onto the motor.
Just writing this deck down from LCL. Okay, what is this last card going to be? Is it going to be the Fireball? I think if it was, we might have seen it already.
I think it's Fireball. There was no big chance of using it yet.
Jack does need to get damage into these towers, so he's starting the Fireball cycle. It is Fireball as the last card.
And Jack just placing Tesla just in case of an offensive motor on the right. Likely it's going to be because the right side tower is more damaged one. And it depends. Okay, this time cannon card all the way from the back. And skeleton barrel on the left.
Yeah, skeleton barrel is going to start taking out the Expo there. Oh, could have done with that little side push on the log there on the cannon cart, but no connection coming in this time. Knight is going to be good.
And the cannon cart blocking the shots. Jack got that Knight ready. Expecting a log, throwing everything left and right.
Now the question is Jack going to drop a defensive Expo here?
Ooh, this will be a little bit tough.
Tesla is good.
Great placement of the Tesla. And a perfect defense, but because of that offensive Expo, Jack sort of not pushed back too far, but LCA had the chance.
Card is going to cross the bridge here, hoping, I think, LC up there to get a Knight in front of the cannon cart, but
exactly
unfortunately,
what I was thinking too.
Yeah, unfortunately, didn't work out this time. Motor is down. Tesla played in the center. Ice Spirit is there to grab that, but
you do have to get something done because the Tesla actually goes down, making the motor hit the tower.
Fireball damage connects. Jack is slowly losing this. There's 30 seconds left. He has to find a way to break through, but how? How can he do it in 25 seconds as an Expo player against Mortar when there's a cannon card as well? Just extra bodies to deal with, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it. LC up looks as though he's going to take game one here.
With ultimate defense from LC up. Expo makes no direct connection in this matchup. And LC up gets game one.
Gotta say, if Jack had dealt with those couple skeleton barrels that got major damage, if he'd dealt with those a little better, that would have been a much closer match. But the Ice Spirit was misplayed. I think it was one square too far to the left, I think.
Yeah, it was hard because expecting those cannon cards plus the Knight and the bar barrel to come down. And Archer is not exactly in the same position from Jack here. Elsia, because he's known as a player with one of the best prediction moves in game and competitive, it was hard for Jack to place all those skeletons and archers all up in front. Because you know those barbarian barrels are just going to get more value.
Well, I mean, LCUp kept trying to predict those fireballs, and Jack was juking them right, but unfortunately, when you're juking them, LCUp knows the best placement of those units, and if you're not putting them there, that's bad news bears.
Yeah, also having Musketeer plus the cannon card. What a fantastic choice. We're seeing some crazy deck choices out from both teams. And these placements from LCUp, knowing that there's always Fireball and Log from Jack. Incredible plays from both.
So the changes in that deck for LCUp were absolutely tight. Bart Barrel instead of the Log and Cannon Card instead of the Goblin Gang. Generally, those would be the changes. I like the Cannon Card change. I think that might just make that deck even more obnoxious than it already is.
Yeah, we've seen with the Goblin Gang, they had their chance back in August and July. But sort of been out of favor. There are lots of quick cycle decks.
Okay, what is Jack gonna bring out this time? LCUp bringing the pain in game 1.
Just reading the lips right now from Ken Sumeshi, saying, why don't you use the Royal Hogs again? There's always EQ with the Royal Hogs. I mean, you're the best person with the EQ cycle.
Reading lips, and he's wearing a mask, and you don't speak Japanese.
So
I don't know why that's got to me.
There were multiple things that were just wrong. First of all, he's wearing a mask. Second, I don't know Japanese.
I don't know why it got to me so hard.
I got you once during the season. That's good enough.
Oh, I gotta wipe the tears from my eyes because I can't see the screen right now. All right. Okay. Breathe. Simon, breathe. All right, game 2 is shortly upon us.
Surprisingly, no Royal Hogs today, though. A lot more Graveyard. They're focusing on everything else except for the Royal Hogs. Even though we see a lot more Cage instead of the Bomb Tower. Interesting.
Predictive changes from all teams here, because people are bringing quite a bit of Fireball anyway because of Fireball baits.
We've seen a lot of Graveyards, though.
Exactly. So there have been a few changes here between the teams, knowing what the other team is probably preparing and then finding out that they've been preparing too. And you have this whole cycle of just over-preparing decks, but here we go. Game 2 is upon us. Jack is 1 game down. Can he bring it back with what is, I am assuming, the minor wall breakers?
Or minor balloons. Minor lava. A log.
I mean,
cancels a few.
The last few times we've seen Jack play minor has been minor wall breakers, but with that ice golem, it all changes.
And a bomb tower and a battle ram that has been used from few WEDGM players last week.
Yep, seems to be a very popular deck in China right now.
With the cannon card, expecting some magic archer, which is the perfect, and the bandit, of course.
So what is Jack pairing with this minor? You wouldn't just leave it minor on its own with the ice golem, possibly balloon?
That's a pretty good shot. The balloon minor combination without the lumberjack.
So both players getting a couple scratches on each other's towers, just trading a few early glancing blows as the miner comes in again. Knowing there's probably no tornado in this deck does free Jack up to put that miner around the tower a lot more.
The final 2 should be Ewis. And with the cannon card, wait, what am I? Magic Archer and the Barbarian Barrel from LCUp.
Oh, the bandit completely ignores the ice golem.
And even the bomb tower.
It is going horribly wrong for Jack in this game 2. Game 1 was a phenomenal back and forth, but this one seems to just be crumbling around Jack right now as LCUp takes a very, very commanding lead.
Exactly what happens when you're trying to catch 2 rabbits at the same time, or shoot 2 birds with 1 stone. There are different sayings by different regions, but you know what I mean. There's that Magic Archer. One.
A lot of damage coming in. 1014. It is going pear-shaped here for Jack. Battle Ram's even going to break through here. The snowball isn't going to be enough. Heal Spirit is there, gets the heal.
But the veteran still makes a connection.
Jack is being played like an absolute
And the Ghost on the
fiddle.
left now will also get shots to the tower.
Well, Ghost gets more. LCR woke up this morning and decided he was going to have Jack for dinner because this has been an absolute
nice
butchering.
The log does push it back now. Here comes the balloon though.
There is no big spell.
But there's
on the
a
side.
E-Wiz. LCR has been keeping that in his hand forever, knowing that this is a balloon.
Just this is like watching a car crash in slow motion right now because we know it's over. You probably know it's over. And Jack is holding on, trying to do what he can. Of course, you're not going to give up when your team's life depends on it. But this is all going wrong.
Hard placement because of those magic arts. Bomb power 33. Still no direct. Oh, that's it with a dash. LCR, 2 wins in a row. What a godlike player.
LCR takes down Jack, and that game 1 was good. Jack made a couple of interesting defensive choices. Game 2, LCR played Jack like an absolute fiddle.
Like, this is what happens when there's Magic Archer in the meta. LCR brings all sorts of decks. Like Bridge Spam, some Royal Logs. Like, there are about like at least 3-4 big meta decks right now with the Magic Archer. I mean, that's exactly when Nova Esports.
What could Jack have done?
Very hard because oftentimes it has. Jack even had to pull a few defensive miners, and that was not enough.
Yeah, that is where the wheels come off. That is, you know.
It's, yeah, because of, if this was pre-patch when the Musketeer actually is working 100% functional, then maybe okay with these decks. May have been somewhat easier, but still hard against the pressure with those Magic Archers.
I have never seen such domination of another player at this level. I've never
Not even
seen,
the E-Golem players?
I have never seen someone manhandle Jack like that. That was like watching someone get thrown off the top of the cage in Hell of a Cell. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it shouldn't happen.
It looked very rough. He never really got to play that balloon, and by the time he played the balloon, he already like lost the game. And because Jack also knew, okay, LCR played an E-Wiz, and he has never played it since the first moment, the first card. Okay, what do I do now?
How can I get him to play that E-Wiz so I can
snowball,
drop it?
but that wasn't enough. Like, there's Musketeer, there's some other, there's also Magic Archer.
So if you're a Fav Gaming fan, there is a bright side to all of this. LCOP's already gone. He can't play another 1v1. That is the bright side you have to look forward to. Unfortunately,
AUK, CRS, Little Chen, Rain, D-King.
This Nova squad are absolutely insane.
Am I missing anyone?
Who do we have coming up?
I think that's AUK.
It is AUK. It's going to be AUK and Hajime. Hajime got the best of AUK in the King of the Hill.
He did. Certainly did in that final game.
But we've seen a lot of times this season where if someone gets the better of someone in King of the Hill when it comes to the 1v1 set, person who lost comes back and absolutely demolishes them. So this is going to be a good match. Hajime against AUK, best of 3. Hajime right now, the last time these two teams met in the first half of the season when Hajime played the 1v1, Hajime did lose to Little Chen 1 and 2.
In terms of best of 3,
Well, I mean, first half of the season, Fav Gaming, we shouldn't even be looking at that data because Fav were terrible. They turned it around in the second half of the season, so looking at that data, Hajime has not played a single 1v1 set, apart from beating Icelaw last week.
so yeah, I'm very surprised that there's still no Expo Master. I think he has to be the player for set 5, but Hajime has to win.
Has
and
to.
AUK is about to close the match right now and go to the grand finals.
You say that like it's already destined. AUK is in blue at the bottom for Nova Esports. Hajime in red at the top. AUK is sitting on match points. He needs to win this set to bring home the bacon for Nova Esports. Hajime needs to win this to take us to a set 5 and hope that his teammate, whoever that may be in that set 5, can carry Fav Gaming to a potential second championship this year.
And we all love bacon in crisp form. Not before that.
I don't like crispy bacon. Really? I prefer Danish style bacon where it's a little bit thicker.
Oh, which isn't too bad. As long as it's fully cooked.
Oh,
You know those,
I
like,
don't eat it
mildly-
raw.
You know those?
You
no,
think I
not
just
raw. You know
peel
those
open-
like mildly cooked, like but not fully 100% cooked bacons.
You think I just eat it raw? That's disgusting. Okay,
Barbarian,
here we go.
you're
Here we go. All
barbarian,
right, all right.
man.
That's enough of the small talk.
You got all those yellow hair.
Okay. So a couple of exchanges here.
Ooh, yeah, that I mean actually not being targeted by the Princess Tower.
Yeah, but that's not going to last long, is it? There you go.
If it did, the baby dragon survived.
Graveyard versus Graveyard. The Fisherman played by AUK pulls that knight across. But look at the damage getting done by this Graveyard.
Oh my goodness! 1500. Little more than that.
Wow, 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 wow. Hajime just realized the window was there as that Barb Hug came down. Fisherman was played. There was just no elixir for AUK available. So Hajime's just like, all right, well, fine. I'm going to go for it. And he did. Massive damage there in the opening exchanges.
Bad news all day for AUK as he's getting ready, of course, with that RG. Seen some Royal Hog deck with the same combination though, so let's wait and see.
Well, AUK, knowing that the Graveyard will be coming on the right-hand side, has played the Barb Hug down there. Played it very deep as well to start eating away, but the thing is, Hajime has poison. He doesn't need to really press that Graveyard button again. He can just poison this one out, and with the Barb Hut in the back, those poisons gain great value.
AUK trying to push the right so he can have that RG position.
I mean, Hajime has all the elixir in the world. Not anymore after he plays that Barb Hut, though. And the RG is tanking through quite a lot of punishment here. It is going to turn it
immediately down.
One hit. Okay.
All that for a single hit, and he took so much more. About 1,000 on the left, right?
Yeah, that left tower now is looking very, very hurt. And this RG is going to be defended nicely again. One shot comes in, but Hajime can sit on that all day. He can take those one hits as long as he gets something in return, which it looks as though he's going to here, because poison should come down very shortly. And that is the trade you want to see. A couple of skeletons getting hits too. Is that tower going to go down? Baby Dragon gets a connection. Down to 90 HP. Hajime, shut those windows because this one is over. Cycle back to your poison. You deserve game one.
AUK was thinking of a longer game. Looked into the big picture, into the forest, but Hajime just look through the tighter window here. And okay, he's actually putting a lot of pressure, setting up on the left. Okay, this is my go sign.
Absolutely dominant performance there by Hajime. I don't think I've ever seen AUK lose quite that hard. That was insane. insanely good.
Yeah.
This is Hajime.
Yeah, without the hunter in that RG, makes it very hard against the graveyard. You just have to have the baby dragon in the air, or else you take that much damage.
If Hajime 2-0s AUK here, that will be insane.
Yeah,
look at that.
Hajime knowing, okay, baby dragon was played, so that shouldn't be back in his hand. Ewis is the only tool.
And I mean, after that, it was just a case of just poisoning down, and the extra damage from the graveyard and the baby dragon here was just a bonus. Hajime would have finished it anyway. And those RGs were really ineffective from AUK, and Hajime knew that he was basically in an unlosable position. There is no heal spirit on the side of AUK, which definitely could have turned that around a little bit. If there was a heal spirit healing back up that RG, I think Hajime would have struggled a little bit more with them. But because there's no heal spirit, Hajime was just free to do whatever he wanted. He could take a hit or two.
Yeah, that's because of the bar pot, it makes it a lot heavier. Of course, there are some heal spirits with the bar pot, but still, Mega Minion takes care of most of the damage. When you don't have a Musketeer, you rely on a lot of Mega Minion damage.
You do indeed. All right, game 2 is almost here. If you're AUK, how are you going to come back from that one? Because that was a slapping and a half.
Don't exactly know, but I don't think RG is the answer. Better bring something crazy like the E-Barbs.
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. Maybe in Worlds.
Maybe in Worlds. It depends what happens next week at this balance update. Got grey hairs just thinking about E-Barb
I mean, I had no
buffs.
choice. I had to pick between the two. Come on.
I mean...
But the top E-Barb is certainly winning for some reason. I don't know.
I just don't know what to say to you sometimes. You're an embarrassment. Can't take you anywhere, G-Clef.
That's a compliment, thank you.
All right, if you're Hajime, so we talked about what AUK needs to do. If you're Hajime, you'd be feeling pretty positive after that. Could you get a little bit too overconfident and maybe slip up in game 2?
No, Hajime never oversteps. If he's passive, he can go a lot towards the passive type of play, but he doesn't really overextend too much. He looks for those perfect chances, like the graveyard we have seen just now. Maybe another graveyard. I think Hajime can stay. It's more up to AUK's deck decision here.
Let's see how it goes. Hajime has played Goblin Giant Sparky in the past. I don't think he's going to be bringing it here.
Seen some balloon decks with the Barbaro, but Barbaro does give you a lot of sign that's mostly likely graveyard. Some Ram Riders, RG. And when we see Log, then we think, okay, maybe some Brit Spam, Royal Hogs, Hog Rider. Just by a single spell, there are lots of hints.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, even though Log and Bar Barrel are very similar, without the pushback, that's generally why we see Log and Bar Barrel, like, have such a divergence between them.
Yeah, Barbaro also, just the Barbaro plus the Graveyard, that is actually a pretty good combination.
It's an instant tank for 2 Elixir. It's a great combination.
Which also directly attacks into the tower. Getting, if you just put it all the way into the river, 2 shots. No.
Both. If you're just joining us, the game has not frozen. Basically, they're waiting for this double elixir period. There's 20 seconds left. Usually we see the first card played at about 1 minute 10, though. That's generally the go sign, because by the time that spawn timer is gone, then you're already in double elixir. Ooh.
Coach is talking to Little Chen. Ooh. We're really taking down, maybe even into triple elixir time.
Maybe Hajime has figured out that the best way to win is not to play cards.
Ooh. Lumberjack calls for a balloon now.
All right, Bowler. Bowler balloon freeze on the side of Hajime, most likely. AUK decides, okay, graveyard time, but the Inferno Dragon is there. That's going to deal with the tank.
And the Bar Barrel.
Yep.
Good against the Skeletons, no problem there, but Hajime is holding a freeze, very likely. On top of this, AUK 100% knows.
Which side do you go? You go right, because the Musketeer went left. So the Mega Minion is the only thing here that stands between that tower and absolute domination. The freeze! The Lumberjack goes down, the raised up balloon is going to get 2 hits! 9:09 remaining!
Good enough! Is that good enough for a win? 637. Last one we were expecting from Hajime is a tornado. So in terms of direct spell damage, it won't be much. There's always a chance for AUK to come back. But with that freeze,
everything went right there for Hajime in that push. Can he do it again? Here is the balloon loaded up. The Lumberjack is there as well, ready to drop that rage.
Has to be there.
Freeze comes down, but that was such a smart play. We'll talk about it after that tower goes down. Hajime, right, Hajime put the freeze down, right? But he left the Knight out of it so that it could kill the Lumberjack and blow everything up. Wow, 7,000 IQ plays right there.
And expecting the freeze to come down, AUK actually placed the Mega Minion pretty close to the tower. Still had the Musketeer, but still Musketeer's not enough for a raised up balloon.
That was just okay, right. You see the Musketeer go left because that's where you think they might go? He goes right. Lumberjack goes down right there to the poison of AUK. So you have a raised up balloon in the tower. Right, cool. Show me the second freeze. Right, watch this. The freeze misses the Knight on purpose so the Lumberjack gets killed. So the balloon can push its way through. Hajime, you have no right to do that kind of stuff to AUK. He did not deserve that. AUK did not deserve a 2-0 slapping in that way, in that fashion.
Hey, freeze deck. We've seen it from Fob. Exo Master used it. Jack used it. Did not bring a win, but Hajime is the only player bringing these wins for the team with this deck.
So we've seen it played four times now.
From Fob only.
Yeah.
Not just from Fob only. I think there was one more.
But let's say Fav only.
Okay.
It got 2 losses when we first saw it. When it came out again and Hajime piloted it, we were like, guys, like, we've seen this deck lose twice today. Let's not have high hopes. Hajime actually smashed with it, right?
Yeah, even that first time actually came down because he had to use a lot of defensive freeze, but it worked though.
Yeah, and this time round, Hajime just piloted that deck like an absolute pro. AUK did not look dangerous at all that game. It looked as though Hajime was 3 or 4 classes higher. That was like 7,000 trophies versus 4,000 trophies in Clan War. That was absolutely insane, the gap between those two players right there.
Yeah, Hajime just prepared a lot better for the day. I think AUK, even if he knew that there was a freeze, he just could not have the best placements against that big of a troop coming. The bowlers, what's their bowler? Lumberjack, Inferno Dragon.
Little Chen in the last spot. This is risky for Nova because Little Chen has a very up and down season altogether.
That's right.
And it's going to be against Expo Master. Right.
Whoa.
This is going to be cool. This should be a great game. But can we talk G-Clef just a second? There has been a casualty of that game. That first Rage Balloon caused me to snap my pen in half. I slammed it onto the desk and I broke it. It's a disaster. All right, anyway, back into the game. Okay, LC up. Little Chen against Expo Master. Now, Little Chen does not have the greatest of records this season. He's 1-1 in these 1v1 sets. We talked earlier, it was him beating Hajime in the first half of the season, but he did lose to Light 1-2. We haven't seen him too much. Most of his games were in the first half of the season, then he was benched. Beating Hajime in the first half of the season, beating Fav Gaming in the first half of the season, that means nothing. You can see the Nova fans there, they look worried.
But Little Chen down to best of 3 set. Actually performed pretty well. Like special season last year. And that was actually one of Nova Esports' strengths.
Did he? In 1v1 best of 3, he went 1 and 2.
In terms of
3 and 5 game
year.
score. You said last season. Last season he went 3 and 5 in game score, G-Clef.
It's not the worst. We've had worse.
We have.
But Expo Master certainly a character to go up against in the best of 3. A very hard opponent, and I think Expo Master actually has a big favor in this matchup.
Well, Expo Master this season, you say that, right? I'm looking at his sheet. Expo Master this season, in terms of set wins, is 1 and 3. He beat Higher and then lost 0-2 to Numisa, 0-2 to Higher, 0-2 to Light. Not the greatest runs of records for our boy Expo Master. The reason we say our boy, me and G-Clef have been casting Expo Master since the beginning of
CCGS.
CCGS, way back when dinosaurs ruled the world in 2017.
And Dinosaurs made Expo Master as an Expo Master when they were always the bans with Elixir Collector and Expo bans.
Yeah, everyone,
him.
the best thing was everyone banned Expo against Expo Master just because of his name. And he never played it.
Because of that, he got so good at all the other decks.
He was a one trick who made it through the 20-win challenge, I think. That's how he got to CCGS.
I mean, Expo's still strong.
All right. Little Chen is one of the players who've been around for a very, very long time. He's kind of been, I think he was he on Nova when they won the Worlds in 2018?
He was in Nova forever, as
Right?
long as I can remember.
He won it with another couple of CRL East professionals, such as Legend, who played for Kicks last season. Because Legend was a winner in the title race. But we're waiting once again for this 1-minute double elixir time to start.
Now, direct ticket to that grand final.
Oh, yeah. Whoever wins this wins it for their team.
They're about to put the ink and print it right now, but this is a tough matchup.
What do you mean, tough matchup? We haven't seen the cards yet.
Graveyard versus Graveyard.
What if it was a balloon?
We'll see.
All right, Bob Hut down. It is looking like it is going to be Graveyard versus Graveyard. Poison comes down from Little Chen, almost confirming that. Mega Minion's going to take out the other Mega Minion, but
There's
the Knight is going to cross the bridge very healthy. Poison comes down now from Expo Master offensively.
Ooh, very good, pretty good defense from Little Chen right there.
Yep. Only really taking poison damage. Skeleton's not on Expo Master's side this time round.
Good heal spirit. There's the Graveyard again from Little Chen. Cannon card with this.
Yeah, Cannon Card doesn't have the greatest firing speed, so these skeletons are going to get some damage in. And Expo Master realizes this, has to throw down his own. Ewis is there. That's going to distract the bomb tower. But the skeletons, again, not favoring Expo Master here.
Close to no damage on that Graveyard from Expo Master. As there were lots of tools. The bomb tower, the archers, and the Mega Minion in the air, just being a great defensive tool again.
Yeah, at least the Knight is here this time. The Cannon Card's going to clean up the back. The Knight at the front.
Yep.
And no damage really taken
Yeah,
there.
both taking some damage off of the tower there. But because of the bomb tower, Cannon Card will be having a rough time making it into the tower at all. So,
I mean, generally, it's just a great tank for the Graveyard to come down as well, because it survives for such a long time. It has a massive pool of hit points.
Yeah, but because Expo Master, he does have the hut, he has to keep that resource into a big attack.
There's a lot of bodies here. Offensive poison comes down again.
Locks it to the Mega Minion.
A couple of skeletons getting hits. This is much better for Expo Master. 2 at the back, getting a ton of work done. 15-13 as we enter the last 60 seconds. So now, Poison comes down from Little Chen aggressively. He knows he has to make this work. Little Chen deciding to go down the right-hand side. This is just to remove pressure off this left-hand side of himself.
Even in the wee E-Wiz. Just two shots off that graveyard now. Expo Master still pushing it with the cannon card on the left.
Cannon card is in range of that Princess Tower, so the skeletons from the graveyard did have a tank. The poison comes down, and this is critical damage between the two. Poison no longer separates Little Chen from victory. I think Little Chen made a mistake going down that right-hand side, trying to counter-attack, but these graveyards need to work for Little Chen more than they do for Expo Master. The cannon card is good. Mega Minions there trying to do what it can. Oh, but it's coming down to the poison!
Is that a little too much? The Mega Minions are still there, even doing the damage to the tower, and that's close to the tower now with the skeletons. Little Chen actually winning the game with double the Mega Minion crossing the bridge. Was not really taken care of. If Expo Master did not throw down the graveyard and actually use that elixir in defense and just use the poison to do more damage to the tower, that could have been a win for him.
Even if he just poisoned the graveyard.
Oh, defensive poison.
A defensive poison would have helped him win that. He had no need to go that aggressive, and Little Chen capitalizes again on Expo Master kinda getting blood in his eyes and going for the jugular. He does this all too often this season, where he has an advantage, and instead of holding on, he pushes it and pushes it and pushes it and ends up tripping up at the final hurdle. I mean, look at the advantage he gets after this graveyard. 1580, 1530. He's up 400.
Yeah, this is the moment. A double Mega Minion healed up.
Now defend that graveyard. Instead of going for your own, the archers easily clean that up for Little Chen. And on the opposite side, Expo Master had nothing. He even uses poison really late. Defensive indecisions on Expo Master's thing. He went too aggressive. There was just too much pushing forward. Going for that graveyard was a huge lapse in judgment.
You think you should have set up a bar pot, even so? Because he had enough elixir. There was a slight chance, slight timing for the bar pot. And if he put that down without the cannon card, he takes some damage, but the incoming barbarians would have soaked a lot of those.
Yeah, it would have been risky. But I think it would have worked better than throwing graveyard down.
Yeah, instead of all the defensive choices that Expo Master could have done, just went with the full offense without the poison, so the archers just cleaned all of it.
Absolute insanity there. Okay, Little Chen takes game one.
What a decision here. And Fav calls a timeout right now.
Yeah, they need to. Okay, game two will be here with us relatively soon. Man, Expo Master he hasn't had the greatest of seasons, has he?
No, and he doesn't look crisp as much, especially when it comes down to like last 40-second decisions.
Yeah, when the pressure is on. Now, Expo Master used to be a player who thrived under the pressure. He carried Kingzone Dragon X back in the day. He carried... Was it Oh, it just turned into Dragon X, didn't it? DRX?
Yes.
But, you know, he carried that team for so long on his back.
On stage with the crowd against so many different teams.
But now the pressure seems to be getting to him a little bit. He seems to be... Once he gets to that last minute, he pushes too hard. He goes for things that he doesn't have to go for. He lacks that last minute finesse that we see with a couple of other players. I'm not saying he lacks the judgment. He doesn't. He is a great player. But he lacks the finesse and the will, I guess, to close games through that tiebreaker situation.
Yeah, also Little Chen. I mean, he seemed like a total different player today. That heal spirit to heal those Mega Minions back up to full basically decided the game win.
I think he just had a digital fist bump there.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi fist bump there.
Giving him that bump. Right, if Nova, Little Chen win this one, Nova go to the Grand Finals. If Expo Master wins, it comes down to a final game 3 between these two players. I want to see it go all the way, I'm not gonna lie.
We came all the way here.
We may as well go all the way to game 3.
Oh,
okay,
yes.
Expo Master in red for Fav Gaming has it all to do. Little Chen just needs to close this one out. He is in blue at the bottom. And are we going to have another period of waiting between these two players?
Maybe.
It's going to be Golem, G-Cliff. You remember the days where when you waited for double elixir, it was Golem every time?
No way.
That was 2018, mate. Every time it went to this, we were like, all right, it's Golem, Golem, and it's double Golem. Way back when.
Why didn't we have Graveyard back then as much?
It just didn't have tools around it, I guess. Maybe we just didn't understand the technology was already there, you know? We didn't understand the skill.
Yeah, that was before all the funds in the middle were faded out, so we could actually see the units. Not enough
That
technology.
was the change. That was the change that brought Graveyard to
technology.
the 21st century, yeah. That was the change.
I love Clash Royale, guys. No.
Well, here we are waiting again, and I mean the coach. We saw earlier the coach was like sitting there with Little Chen.
Yeah, he was talking
through
actively
every
talking
game.
to him.
Yeah. So I guess what has been going on is the coach has been, you know, talking to Little Chen through games. Like, what would you do here? What would you do? What should he do? Like getting him in the game, getting him in the zone.
Yeah, giving a lot of stress.
I don't know if it'd be stress, because a lot of people do like these little puzzles, you know, where like you have a situation and you get asked what would you do, and then you start playing those mind games and you get really comfortable with it. Maybe that has been the thing for Little Chen. Maybe he just needs someone to coach him much closer.
Simon, that's a zap.
Yeah.
Get ready. Or some lavas. Or maybe some... There are some Sparkies.
Okay. Offensive win rate, 64.0% from Expo Master. That means when he plays down those cards first, he does end up taking the game more often than not. On Flying Machine for Expo Master, but Firebolt out of existence. What has he got here? Skeleton Dragons are not going to be enough. Barbs come down to easily clean up that Night Witch. But the damage is coming in here.
Yeah, lava for Expo Master too, with the Flying Machine. But with the Miner, that's been doing some damage, not bad. And lava from Expo Master easily taken care of with the Bats, Baby Dragon, Inferno Dragon in the air.
Yeah, and I mean, Expo Master now is going to be worried about playing down, but there's a Fireball, so Flying Machine can come up. Another set of Skeleton Dragons and a Flying Machine will help defend this very, very nicely. Arrows come down, and there are a lot of bodies there. Miner played defensively here just to protect those Skeleton Dragons a little bit more. Ooh. Mega Minion comes down, but the Baby Dragon's getting massive, massive hits in, and the Miner is going to town. All pressure on Expo Master. Lava Hound played at the back, and it is looking dire for the Korean player, Expo Master.
Yeah, Night Witch Barbarians right there to tank everything, to block the Inferno Dragon shots too.
Look at the Barbarians, but not hit by that Fireball. Now look at this, Flying Machine is going to have time, but does the tower have time? It's going to start taking damage.
Little Chen actually totally okay with the choice there because of the Bats taking care of most of the Barbarians, easily handled.
Yep, the Lava Hound again pops before it gets anywhere near the tower.
Flying Machine being good over Expo Master. I think Little Chen wanted to save that Baby Dragon for the defensive Miner position.
Going with the Barbarians on the left. Expo Master needs to find a way through, and Little Chen throws down his own Barbs. And I mean, how are you going to stop this? The Miner played at the back. Flying Machine is played close to the King Tower. It's not going to deal with it quickly, so the Mega Minion has to be summoned.
Still taking too much damage here from the Miner. The Flying Machine actually does not go down to the Fireball.
Yeah, this might actually change a few things around. Again, though, Lava Hound is demolished by Little Chen, and I think this might just be curtain calls here for Fav Gaming and Expo Master. Fireball comes in, huge value there.
Basically, Nova, they know it. They feel grand finals already. Little Chen is going to secure the match point.
There it goes, and that is a much more positive taking off the headphones by Little Chen there, because we've seen him get angry. Nova Esports are your first confirmed grand finalists. We will see Fav Gaming tomorrow in that 3rd, 4th place match, but Nova Esports brought home by LCR, by Little Chen, do make it that far. Fav Gaming getting this far as their season, their first half of the season, they went 1-6. Getting this far is absolutely insane and testament to how strong the Fav Gaming team can be, but today they were just not good enough.
Defending champion does fall in the top 4. We'll still play another best of 5 tomorrow against the loser of our 2nd match tonight. But Nova seems very powerful. They weren't perfect, but still, if one player is not perfect, not feeling the best for the day, they've got the big roster, and the backup members are always going to do it. Today, Little Chen also looked pretty crisp.
He did indeed. That Baby Dragon was just too much. The miner there as well, and Expo Master, he probably knew it was over by this point. Going down those towers, and I mean, yeah, there was nothing he could do. MVP is going to be LCR. 4 crowns, 4 wins, 1 loss. And guys, we will be back after a very short break. Don't go anywhere as we have the winner's side matchup. It's going to be Ponos
finally
versus WEDGM. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll see you in just a few minutes. And welcome back, everybody. We just saw Nova and Fav go toe-to-toe, went all the way, but in the end, Nova were victorious. And we're going to be witnessing, for the first time in what feels like an absolute lifetime, Ponos against WEDGM. Now, before we get into this, I do want to just quickly say something. Anyone who is affected by that massive hurricane, typhoon, whatever you want to call it, that's going to rip through the Philippines this weekend, please stay safe. Look after yourselves.
Hopefully it doesn't gain any more power. Actually goes weaker when it actually reaches land.
Yeah, but look after yourselves, guys. Anyway, back into the games. Ponos against WEDGM. Now, much like Fav, I would say WEDGM have zero right getting this far based on the first half of the season where they went 2-5. But they turned it around second half of the season. They came out strong. They did go down to the losers bracket, and it was
against Talon 3-0.
Talon slapped them. And then WEDGM got revenge by slapping Talon back even harder. I mean, WEDGM definitely do now deserve it based on the second half of the season, how they turned the ship around, how their playoff has gone. But Ponos are just so scary right now.
Yeah, you say they deserve it, but like deserving isn't going to win games for you. When Ponos is just absolutely stunning all around 2v2, King of the Hill 1v1.
I don't
find a weakness.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, but you're right. The only thing I can see, the only way now, any WEDGM fans listening to this are probably going to be like outraged. The only way I can see WEDGM winning this based on seasonal form is if Ponos are currently colder than the North Pole. Like, if they are not warmed up, if they are not ready, if their practice hasn't been good for the last 3 weeks, if they're resting on their laurels, WEDGM can strike. But based on both of these teams this whole season, Ponos are heavy favorites.
And talking heavy, when you talk about the heavy hitters for both teams, Ponos, they have KK, Mugi, and also Yakitori, who has been climbing up to a massive sort of a win streak for himself. But for the heavy hitters for WEDGM, there's Solomon Higher, who's also taking care of 2v2, lots of King of the Hill. Sometimes they're showing up one by one, but today in this best of 5 against this roster of Ponos, both players has to show up.
Yeah, they really do. To stand a chance, Hire and Solomon need to play absolutely out of their minds. They need to win the 2v2 or the King of the Hill and then close it out. Maybe set 3, set 4. If they can win both 2v2 and King of the Hill, they have a very strong chance of nicking another game. But it's going to be rough. Look at that, 66.7% for these two here. Rad and Reiki Jones, 16-8 in game score, 8-2 in set score. The only teams they've lost to have been Talon and Nova Esports AUK LCO. Against Higher Solomon in 2v2, they are undefeated, 4-0. G-Clef. Rad and Yak. Oh, Rad and Reiki.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, who else they got?
I was like,
they
wait.
had some other pair, but this has to be the norms, and they've got the golden Princess and the Pekka, and Ponos all over it.
Did you watch the awards that were given out? It was basically just giving Ponos everything. Like, best coaching staff, Ponos. Best 2v2 pairing, Ponos. Best rookie, Mugi. Best player, Mugi. It's like, man, they have been so dominant this season. As I said, Brad and Reiki, 4-0 against the pairing from WEDGM. And the thing is about WEDGM, they don't even have the depth, really, to throw someone else out there, to try something new. And NATO with the giant skeleton ban, Ario bans. There we go. Okay, The broken pen just about right. I'll give it a couple of minutes before it falls apart.
Okay. If you need an extra pen, just let me know, because these bans, Tornado, Giant Skeleton, again the Giant Skeleton ban, does change a lot of 2v2. We've seen it happen again and again, a lot less RG. And when Tornado is banned, I think Ponos has a lot of chance to use those double baits, which they had been when the Tornado was banned. And they're awfully having a lot of fun before they're going into the game.
These chairs are super bouncy.
They're always having fun, Rad and Reiki Jones.
Well, that is how you win games, having fun and just being absolutely sick nasty.
Yeah, but when they get into the arena, just click. They're in game, they're in the zone.
All right, here we go. Solomon and Higher in red at the top, who, as a pair, are still pretty good. 7 and 9 in terms of sets, 20 to 23 in terms of games. But Ponos, Rad and Reiki Jones are 4 and 0 against the pairing so far this season. Can they make it 6 and 0 today? We'll be finding out within the next 4.5 minutes.
And Lava from WEDGM.
Night Witch. It's going to be clone shenanigans from Ponos.
Maybe. Actually, the Dark Prince takes the charge damage. So arrows is a pretty good tool.
Yeah, but Hunter is going to absolutely eat that alive. The Mega Knight
jump
gets the jump. The Graveyard gets some of the damage in. And just like that, it's all gone.
Skeleton spawn right in between the Fisherman and the Mega Knight jump. Oh.
Still, there's somewhat to do. This Fly Machine does connect, and we know that Fly Machines get an absolute massive amount of damage. I mean, look at that, 1745. It's only got a couple of hits in.
Yeah, but still about 1,000 lead for Ponos, though. And the balloon all the way on the right.
Oh.
And the E was stopping that Inferno. That's power down.
Wow.
Everything with the perfect setup.
And the balloon continues.
And the clone with another drop. A third drop onto the King Tower. That's might as well just King Tower gone. Just leave this Princess Tower. Take it. We're going for 3 crowns.
I don't see why you wouldn't at this point. Hunter's going to take out the Inferno Dragon, then slowly get damage into that Lava Hound. Fireball to take out the Skeleton Dragons. I mean, if WEDGM get this tower down, then there is a chance for WEDGM to nick it.
Because they have Lava, and Arrow's actually doing a lot of work.
We also haven't seen a big spell on the side of Ponos. So if they don't have a spell to finish it, they're going to be in trouble. Yeah, they don't have massive direct damage. How are they going to do 762 damage? There is actually a huge chance that Rad and Reiki can let this slip through their fingers from being a little bit too carefree.
Yeah, they're setting up for a huge push here. Double the Mega Knight. They have Graveyard too. See the setup for WDGM. Rich Dragon there. The E-Way is right on the clone. Misses 100% there.
Clone caught nothing. Ponos getting a little bit sloppy now, and that sloppiness might just be the end of them because there's an absolute ton. They have to use a defensive freeze, but the Mega Minion might just get the
connection. Will still do it.
There is.
Was a clone just for the cycle, but might as well just use it on the better target.
Might as well just use it on the left-hand lane. I mean, that had no right being as close as it was. There is. Ponos got a little bit sloppy. They took that tower down very, very quickly. They got the 3 crowns, but there are questions to be had with Rad and Reiki Jones after they took that tower. I mean, if I was the coach, sure, you won the game, but there has to be a talk about that because they really shouldn't have lost that tower.
Yeah, those 2 skeletons that spawned.
Just want to point out, I threw out a terrible prediction. Saw Mega Knight, saw Night Witch, I was like, it's clone. Terrible prediction that ended up being true, but there, nothing. I think he was trying to do the E-Wiz, maybe?
Maybe the E-Wiz.
Unfortunately, just didn't quite get that down, but Lumberjack balloon in the pocket was just too much to handle. And just rages through, catches the tower, jobs are good.
Still pretty good with those clones. I mean, Graveyard, they only had to play it once.
Once took a tower, they only had to play 2 balloons because they needed to take the King Tower because they lost one. Anyway, Red and Reiki Jones do take game 1. Game 2 will shortly be upon us. Solomon and Higher have a lot to do to stop Red and Reiki from 6-0ing them this season. And I mean, to do it that way and to clown around as much as Ponos kind of did there, like, they should not have lost the tower. We can definitely say that. They took that game really quickly.
I think they saved up some more to get that 3 crowns. Let those elixirs be spent on a second tower push for WEDGM while it's being pretty slow by those lava.
The one thing I will say is it going 3-0 in that fashion could be a moral break, like a morale break, not a moral break, a morale break. It could break WEDGM as a cohesive unit. And don't forget, Solomon and Higher are 2 of the best 1v1 players for WEDGM. If you break them mentally in the 2v2, you're giving yourself a nice clear path for the rest of the tournament if they can't recover. That was like D20 psychic damage that Ponos just inflicted. But we'll see if Solomon and Higher can recover in game 2.
Yeah, the game's not over. There's a long best of 5. That might be switching decks.
I mean, guaranteed to switch decks at this point. Gotta feel bad for Ponos there as they cycled the log on the other side to the Spear Goblins.
Even Snowball.
Royal Hogs, maybe? Oh, Ram Rider?
Yeah, I'm thinking Ram Riders.
It's going to be something like that with the pushing power, the slowing power of the Snowball.
Ram Rider Mega Knight that we have seen from Nova. Has a very high chance here. Ponos Lumberjack, but this time they have the Musketeer, so with a different combination.
Do you think it's still most likely with the balloon? Or do you think they've mixed that up? And here we go, Mega Knight Graveyard, this time from WEDGM. It's looking very much the same format here for Ponos.
Mega Knight with possibly even with the balloon, or even with their with double Lumberjack.
Yeah, and I mean, Ewis here is the battle healer just stays alive forever in a day. And that has unfortunately made that balloon get absolutely nowhere near the tower. Just the death damage coming in. 2-1-1-8 against 2-1-3-2. 14 separate the difference. Separate the 2 teams.
The battle healer is going to be a great tanking tool there, WEDGM's Graveyard.
Double Lumberjack, double balloon from Ponos. It's a risky strategy, but this
the
balloon
minions are gets
one
dropped.
Drop.
Huge.
Ponos taking this one a little bit more seriously than game 1 by the look of it, because this has been very, very tight for both teams. And there is the defensive freeze from WEDGM, but this balloon raged up. Isn't going to get in range because of that Hunter. Fireball comes down, that's going to clean up most of it, but the battle healer survives. The balloon's coming in. Heal Spirit there isn't going to be enough. Graveyard comes down as well. Heal Spirit does for WEDGM. Heal stuff back up. Snowball into the balloon. Death damage from the bomb tower plus the Musketeer is enough to clean that up.
Well dealt with from both sides. Wanted to get a balloon in, but defensive Snowball, and the Lumberjack's going to save the day from against the Skeleton. That's the reason why they brought double Lumberjack. Again, balloon without the rage this time is going to be stopped by that Ewiz.
And the minions as well. That might be a little bit of an overcommittal here from WEDGM. They definitely didn't need the minions to defend that balloon.
And just in case of any kind of spell, because Ponos, they still have one more.
Balloon Lumberjack loaded again on the left-hand side. It's very interesting that they choose to go left when the right is still up for the taking. Raged up balloon. Hunter is down. Spear Goblins.
Just enough. They had their own rage.
So Ponos now going down the right-hand side, and the Goblin Cage does catch the balloon, and the minions are going to help clean that up. Graveyard in here from WEDGM. Lumberjack is on the defensive. Freeze comes down. Fireballs there. Log has to come in. Defensively, that wasn't terrible, but Ponos actually need to get quite a lot of damage in this last minute if they're going to win. Raged up balloon, raged up balloon. There's another Lumberjack in there. Freeze comes down as well. Will one of these balloons break through? Defensive freeze. The Hunter's there, but it's dead. This balloon still might get through.
Ooh, he was at the fireball. That was a lot of elixirs burned by WEDGM right there.
Double balloon, no rage, nothing else. Just applying the pressure. Freezes down. The Lumberjack now sneaking through. Snowball to get rid of the minions. Hunter is there. Is it going to get the second? It is not. And it's healed back up. Is it going to get a drop? Ewis fireball as well. Over committal.
No death damage again. What a great defense by the WEDGM. They're on this time. The balloon and the graveyard does come. Bomb Tower is there with the Hunter. Is the freeze is going to come down anytime soon? There's a freeze. Misses totally, but the damage doesn't go in. Ponos.
6-0 on the season. Rad and Reiki Jones take it. I mean, that was close.
That wasn't the most clean play in the final 30-40 seconds from both sides.
It got a little bit sloppy again, but Rad and Reiki, the ever charismatic duo from Ponos, definitely outplayed their opponent Solomon and Higher in that one. Whew.
And this constant push with balloons one after the other. Solomon Higher, they had one balloon, and they can create a bigger push with the battle healer, but they only have one chance. While Ponos, they can load up Lumberjack balloon and an immediate Lumberjack balloon.
Yeah, and I mean, these minions just had no chance of catching the Ferrari balloon that just went right into that tower. Speeding all the way through, and I mean here, double balloon doesn't really accomplish much. Freeze did come down, but I mean, yeah, double balloon.
And their snowball getting all those minions. Well done. And healed up balloon.
That was an overcommittal.
But
They
still
did
good
not
enough
need-
because it got the death damage off of the tower.
It did. And that balloon was looking kind of scary. The graveyard actually could have gone completely the opposite way.
The freeze actually misses. Didn't really matter. The Lumberjack didn't even reach the tower.
That damage from the freeze could have been the difference between WEDGM taking game 2 and Ponos taking game 2. I mean, it could have been. I'm not saying it did, but that graveyard coming in could have been so much worse for Ponos. I think they got a little bit lucky with the spawns there. Like,
no, not.
I mean, they defended it perfectly. They had everything they needed. It's just like, you never know when one skeleton is basically going to come up underneath the Princess Tower and get a hit, because
underneath, then we won't get to see it.
I know, but so, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes these graveyards just put it right up on the tower, and the skeleton always goes for the hit. So one or two of those could have really changed the outcome of that. But
yeah, like the placement of those Bomb Tower Musketeer and the Lumberjack from Ponos basically saying, okay, come at us. We are ready with any kind of freeze that you're going to give us. Like, they barely took any damage from the skeletons. It was mostly just from a lot of spells just throwing down. Most of the freeze were actually on top, which means that it just shows that Ponos was in the lead the entire game.
Indeed it was. But King of the Hill will soon be upon us. Expecting Ponos to rip through WEDGM the same way that the 2v2 went, or are you expecting something a little bit closer in the King of the Hill?
So, is it going to be Wanga? Is it going to be Peas? I have no idea. Or,
I mean, Wanga hasn't been terrible the playoffs. he did get a win against Geralt and did lose to Line. And then in best of 1v1s, he lost to Geralt 0-2, but beat Line 2-1. So it wouldn't be a bad choice. I think bringing Wonga in now. Yeah, Radish. Maybe Shia.
Just like Tengat, maybe in the future.
All right, so look at the win rates on Ponos. 3 players over 70%. 3. That's every player in a possible King of the Hill has over 70% win rate. Man, that's scary. Okay.
70% is higher than winning 2 games when you lose 1. That's 63, 66.
That is some quality math there, G-Clef. Quality math. Okay, Rad coming up is currently 2-4 in King of the Hill. Beat AUK, lost to D-King, lost to Paradox, lost to Blizzard. Beat CRS and lost to AUK. So Rad, not exactly the strongest here, but it might just be a case of Ponos wanting to give him a shot in the playoffs, maybe?
See, I think it's also because Yakitori has been pretty good in terms of his 1v1, but also Rad and leaving some, maybe Ponos is actually thinking about maybe leaving KK out of King of the Hill?
No, surely not.
Surely not. They will be putting KK and Mugi. But it has been KK and the second player and Mugi as the last player. That has been the pattern.
We haven't even talked about the fact that Peas is coming out.
Yeah, so I was loading up my Golem decks, loading right now.
All right, so Brad versus Peas. Peas, though, it's been an interesting season to say the least. 2-6 in King of the Hill. 1-1 in the old. 1-1 in the old 1v1 sets. King of the Hill is where we're at. He's only beaten Haruki and Greed in the King of the Hill this season. I mean, last season in the special season, he was that 1-1 player. He would always get 1 win, 1 loss. So we'll see how Peas is going to be able to perform today.
What he is actually going to bring.
Lava Hound. Okay, beatdown is on the menu today, boys. And Brad sneaking a Lumberjack in. Barb's played at the last second.
Yeah, testing water right now. What kind of lava deck it is going to be. And with that, I think Lava Miner with Night Witch.
We'll see one Bob connects very heavily into the tower, and a couple more are going to connect in. Rad defended. There's a lot of damage coming in here. This is too much. Too much damage already done to that left-hand side. Look at it, G-Clef. 1-1-0-3. Peas takes a huge upper hand.
See how well Red can actually respond. It is certainly not over yet.
It isn't, but it's looking rough, to say the least. Another Lava Hound loaded up at the back for Peas. And Lumberjack Balloon down the left-hand side.
Knew that was going to be Balloon 100%.
Yeah, I think maybe. Oh, one connection, heal.
He's letting that go.
2. And the death damage. That is going to be a very dead tower there. But don't forget, Peace has the advantage. Both of Rad's towers have taken considerable amounts of damage, and the Inferno Dragon gets a huge connection too. Miner here to snipe the Musketeer. The pups are going to get a little bit of damage in.
Both towers are actually going to survive. So in this case, Rad actually still holds a big lead. He's not being able to bring one tower down.
Yeah, healed up.
Another connection. Oh, this might be... The Musketeer also getting some work done.
It's going to be close. Okay, the barbs come down. Fisherman's there. He's trying to get the miner in. There are 25 seconds left, and Peas has already lost one tower. It looks as though he's going to lose a second relatively soon. Will Rad just let this go? Balloon loaded up on the left-hand side with absolutely no protection, which Rad could let go to get this tower down. I think that's what he's going to do. Raged up Balloon. Fisherman's going to be there too.
Fisherman's going to get it hooked. And that's tower down exactly at the right time. Pocket Fisherman to seal the game.
And Rad steals it from Peas. Peas got a little bit tricky, trying to get both towers very low, and Rad capitalizes and punishes in what can only be described as a clown fiesta game right there.
Yeah, both the lava. Rad actually made better choice to let go of one side. Said, okay, with Lumberjack Balloon, he knows what's up 100%, but I've got to look for my chances. And when the lava's loaded up on the right, Rad just instantly goes, okay. All he has right now is basically the skeleton dragons.
Yeah, the arrows missing the musketeer. Snowball had to come in here, otherwise that tower would have been down. And yeah, nicely defended.
I thought Peas also had lots of chances for his own snowball.
Yeah, could have stopped it, and the fisherman getting the damage. Snowball plus the death damage would have been enough. There was that first balloon. There was a nice little interaction where Red put down the lumberjack on its own, down the left-hand side. It run up the thing, Barb's last minute. If you saw when Rad put down the next lumberjack, he was expecting Barbs to come down again. So that's why he loaded up the balloon right behind it. So the lumberjack comes down. He expected Peas to put down the barbs. The balloon comes in. If Peas had put down the barbs instead of the skeleton dragons, that would have been one very dead tower immediately.
And it still went down regardless because of the rage and the skeleton dragons not being the best tool. And Red also he's put some pretty good heal spirit timing there. Right in for the balloons, expecting where the skeleton dragon is going to be.
Alright, so Higher versus Rad. Minor wall breaker maybe from Higher this time round. See if he can bring a win with that against Rad here. Remember, Ponos are in blue, WEDGM in red. And Higher has had a very interesting season. King of the Hill wise, he is 10 and 13, but some of those wins have come at clutch times, but playoff season has not been his time for King of the Hill. He is 0-3. He lost to Geralt, lost to Benza, lost to Geralt again. Higher's playoff King of the Hill is definitely not as strong as his 1v1 King of the Hill.
We will see, but Higher did come up clutch. Some of, especially those best of threes, those started with those Hog Rider decks. And Higher did play a few times, not as much in the regular season or even the last season. So whenever he feels like there's no other deck to actually go have a specific good matchup, he just chooses Hog Rider.
Yeah, we've also seen the Recruits Battle Ram Cannon card deck. We played that last week. Huh. Well, just waiting on the go sign on this one. What do you think Brad's going to bring this time around? Same deck? Maybe a graveyard deck instead?
It's hard to guess for Rad.
Wizard, E-Barbs, Night Witch?
No E-Barbs for sure. I've heard that in the middle. You're trying to sneak that E-Barb in the deck. Can't fool me. Okay, RG.
Instantly cool because Barb Barrel can only go in one deck.
No way. But I called for Graveyard versus Graveyard when there was Barb Barrel from both sides. With the Snowball though, feeling something else. I think it's more of Brad expecting Higher to play some charging decks or bridge spam decks. There's that EQ.
So Hog Rider for Higher.
but with the Fisherman, there's a chance for Hog Rider, but a lot less with the Fisherman. My guess is RG with EQ, and even with maybe Delivery, but Musketeer. Let me scratch that.
No, I think this is the Royal Hogs.
Yeah, Royal Hogs.
Yeah.
Yep, 3.1.
There we go. We saw this last week, Royal Hogs with that EQ, and if I remember correctly, EQ was the source of most of the damage in those games because he just kept cycling through it.
Actually, Balloon again.
It's completely fair with how dominant it was against Peas.
Here, getting it ready. Spear Goblins will be a great tool against those minions, and also buying some time against the Lumberjack too. And watch the final card be on the RG from Rad.
It's possible.
All that for nothing? No.
There have been Lumberjack RG decks knocking around. They're not super duper popular, but they have been used. Lumberjack played at the back. Goblin Brawler decides he wants none of that funny business on the left-hand side. There is the Balloon. The Barbed Barrel is there to tank. The Musketeer currently was locked onto a minion, but now it's going to lock onto that Balloon. Is it going to get out of range? It is not. Death damage whiffs into the middle of nowhere.
And the cage to go against the Balloon. Perfect timing. There's that EQ to block, get the cage down. Some Hogs are connecting damage. Musketeer doing work, but not as quickly.
Yeah, and this is very much higher, showing that he still has it because he's dominating this one right now. Can he continue it? The snowball doesn't catch the Musketeer. And just, again, death damage whiffing. Oh, caught the tower this time on the death damage. No, not too big.
Yeah, that EQ came way too late, but still so good. Enough to do all that damage into tower. Even the Brawler getting a fish.
6-2-4 remains on the tower.
So now Red not pushing, and actually higher. Going for aggressive early cycle this time.
Snowball to separate does buy a little bit more time, but 2-4-3. And all it needs now is a couple of Earthquakes to finish off the tower.
Just one more damage with the Earthquake, so Red giving it a go right now for the final time.
Nothing to distract the Musketeer. Oh, the minions actually move into the perfect spot to distract. The Balloon isn't gonna get a drop. Death damage comes in, one minion swipe, and I mean that, as they say in the business, is gonna be that. 39 left, one last LJ and Balloon.
That is all you wrote there, and higher.
Takes game 2.
First game for WEDGM tonight.
Yeah. But, I mean, this is what we have talked about all season when you go against Ponos, right? Defeat one player. That's not Moogie and KK. And you know who the next player is going to be. It's Moogie or KK. And I think this is where Ponos are going to show just how strong or weak they will be, because they do have a lot of depth in quality.
And this is the matchup that we have been waiting for a lot. The higher Solomon, the two strong pillars for WEDGM, Ponos, the superstars. Now it really comes down to these two, not just thinking of the hill. This is going to show a lot of what's going to happen in the future when we get into set 3, set 4.
Yeah, I mean, Rad, as good as Rad is, he is not the strongest player on Ponos. And yeah, you can see Deep Musketeer might have just been a little bit of an error there. But regardless, I mean, he's not the strongest player, but he took a game off you. He took one game in this King of the Hill away from Peas and made Hire really work for his paycheck there. Like, Hire had to work really hard to beat Rad. How is he going to cope if he goes against Moogie, if he goes against KK? It's, I don't want to blow the horn of Ponos too much. I don't want to be like, yo, Ponos 100% have this in the bag against WEDGM. I'm not showing bias. I'm not trying to be biased. But when you look at the season that both these teams have had, you cannot help but think Ponos are going to walk all over WEDGM.
I think that's what exactly Ponos has thought and gave the open chance for Rad to think and to say, okay, I can just play the same deck again. Try to have the reverse psychology here, which is very uncommon these days. To play the same deck twice in a row in the playoff like that was very unexpected from Rad. But as we've been reading the news of what's happening for Ponos, it's KK.
It's almost like it is scripted.
How you been, KK? It's been a while.
I almost fell off the chair then by the look of it. Are you a person that has the chair to go all the way back, or do you generally give it some like stability so you can lean back in it?
I lock it all the time.
Yeah,
so
right?
It doesn't lean back.
Only animals allow it to go all the way back. I got a couple of friends who do it, and it is uncomfortable.
Only when I want to have my feet on the table, then I would lean back just for my back. But except for those chances when I'm playing games, no.
Okay. All right, on to the real talk. As I found the sheet I was looking for, KK is 11-7 in King of the Hill. When he played against WEDGM, though, he's 0-1. He only played against Radish, and Radish did get the better of KK in the second half of the season when these two teams met. KK, most of those, okay, he's 11-7, but the last 3 of those came from the last 3 games against Kix, Nova, TTG. But that TTG was a loss to Boss. He did beat Paradox and Nomisa just before. So it's not like he is completely washed up, KK. He is in incredible form, King of the Hill. We haven't seen him in 1v1. I think, actually, that might be one of the issues that Ponos faces. Nobody really has best of 3 experience besides Mugi.
Because they've been winning so many with a 2-0, that's potentially because of reason, and also Mugi playing a lot of that spot.
Okay, last time out, KK played Benzer and lost that game. It's fine. A bit of time here as we wait to get into the game. Now, if you're KK, you're going to be kind of chomping at the bit for this. You want to get into this game as quickly as possible, right?
I think you, as a player, you've been waiting for this moment for the last 2 weeks at least. And King of the Hill, don't exactly know what KK would be bringing. Okay, is that the go sign? Not yet.
Still waiting. Okay, all right. Benzer beat KK. KK was playing RG Ewiz. So nothing spectacular there. Very standard deck. And what was Benzer playing?
Can we feel it?
Benzer beat KK with Graveyard. So maybe Hire will bring something like that to try and give flashbacks to KK and force him to play a style that he is not comfortable with, but KK has been ripping up the rulebooks lately and just destroying everyone left, right, and center.
And of course, with this much pressure, oftentimes you do not want to play the first card.
Talking about pressure, we have seen in the past that KK has been susceptible to pressure back when he was on Game With. You know, when the chips are down, sometimes KK can get shaky. And is that what we're going to see here? Is KK going to slowly start to slip?
Yeah, we've seen those moments, especially in the grand final stage, but where he just went all in. But I think he's on another level now. He's grown to be a better player to relieve the stress on his own. I don't think those nerves are going to get him anymore.
Well, he was very young, like when he was doing that kind of stuff with Game With, where he's in the finals, he goes a bit all in, and
that was
ends up
early
finishing second.
Spring last year.
Yeah. So maturity does come with age, and perhaps he's learned to shake those off. We'll be finding out as we enter the last 1 minute and 20 seconds of regular time.
And that was when KK was not in Super Saiyan mode. His hair was black back then. Still, we couldn't see his eyes.
Maybe that's not a human under there. Maybe it's an alien. And nobody would be surprised.
Because Moogie's an alien.
It's Moogie with
Or he's a robot. Which one were we on?
Moogie is the extraterrestrial Clash Royale being. KK is just a living god. Okay. So it is.
Ooh, KK maybe
Ice
3.5.
Looks like it's going to be a mirror match
Graveyard?
too. We're very close too. There's the graveyard for KK. And he does have a slightly quicker cycle than his opponent because his opponent brings that Barb HUD. So even if every card is identical except that, KK will have the faster way around back to another graveyard, back to another poison. So Higher has to play very, very tight here.
Great decision to have that defensive poison there. Now KK without the poison has to lock and drop a few more things, as these skeletons actually did quite a lot of damage for the first graveyard from Higher.
But what that has done is that has given Higher the kind of the go-ahead to use that poison, and that might come back to bite him. Because if this graveyard does the damage you're looking at right there, it's purely because of that poison. That aggressive poison may have been a misstep by Higher, and KK completely goaded him into it.
You have no poison, man. I'm just gonna go for it. KK presses the red button. And in a big lead now by about 800.
Another graveyard comes down.
Poison should be back for Higher, but those barbarians.
Oh, the barb connects as well, even under the Ice Wiz. And that is KK's poison. Oh, it is falling apart.
That's GG.
393 remain. A couple poisons will finish it. Baby Dragon up there just chipping away at that massive elixir cost that is the Barb HUD.
Yeah, after seeing those placements of the Ice Wizard and the Baby Dragon, KK just goes. He's not letting go of it any. Okay.
Takes a bit of damage there, but I mean, he's 2 or 3 poisons away from winning here. Now the graveyard might be overkill, and it will.
Yes.
It seems like he's not going to make the same mistake we see Expo Master make, which is trying to go for that jugular over and over again. Just play solid defense.
Pretty good tornado here, but the Baby Dragon. Ooh, actually, Baby Dragon from Higher actually went down pretty quickly. Nicely handled by KK.
Does decide to throw down the graveyard.
Yeah, just for a poison plus. Another skeleton hill will do it.
KK takes game 3 in very, very solid style. And I'm going to say it again. I think KK goaded Higher into playing that poison. He didn't look as though he was defending it properly. Higher thinks, okay, I got the better hand here. Let's go, go, go. Poison down. KK's like, ha, you fell into my trap, you fool. And then just went for the jugular and got the damage in.
KK laced that Ice Wizard just in the poison range along with the Baby Dragon and the tower, saying, okay, give it a shot. Once you put down a card, you've just activated my trap card. And
oh, we're not even gonna see it. It was just before this. And I mean, that was the go-ahead.
Right there, the Baby Dragon. Woo, the skeleton's about 4 actually reaching.
Yep, and then it was just rinse and repeat. Great defense both sides. Ice Wiz played deep so that it could just slow everything down. Tornado was a bit sus.
Higher also tried a few moves with the Tornado, but KK responded better with Tornado immediately after.
One hero, Larry, gets the damage in. Okay, Higher is out, and now comes Solomon. Oh,
he's gone.
Where's he gone? Where's he gone? He's fell in the trap hole. Okay, there he is. Okay, I thought he.
Maybe Higher dropped the headset.
He falls through the floor, and they're like, "We got no one else to go out. Please go out again."
No, Wanga's there.
All right.
And Solomon has to keep the team alive, or it's 2-0.
But that is something Solomon can definitely do. Solomon is the player that always seems to come in at the last minute and just bring it home for his team and kick-start the comeback. He has been the center point of all these morale boosts that WEDGM get. It was looking really bad at times, and he gets the win, brings it back for his team, and there's kind of that roar, you know what I mean? That like, yeah, let's do this, as soon as he wins in King of the Hill.
But is that also possible against Ponos, though?
No, of course not.
KK
and then Mookie?
And then Mookie.
This is probably the hardest challenge you can have. And I mean, there is a reason why Ponos and WEDGM are playing right now. WEDGM had to creep up through that loser's bracket. The punishment for climbing through there is you go against the league champions. And this season, just so happens that the regular season champs are the most dominant team in CRL East history. Obviously, because it's only been 2 seasons, but also including, I want to say, China and Asia regions. This is probably the most dominant team we have ever seen.
I do 100% agree. Like, we've never had a squad being this dominant throughout the season.
Nova have been dominant, but no shade of the same dominance that Ponos are showing right now this season.
Nova had some shaky moments during the regular season in CRL. China also lost to WEDGM a couple of times in the playoff. Do you remember those results? Ponos, of course, because first place, second place, they do get direct seeded into the second stage of the playoff. This is the first time Ponos is actually playing in playoffs, but no worries, guys. They're about to get the second set win already. And Solomon, I don't think the pressure gets to him ever at all.
It doesn't.
He doesn't fall apart easily.
No, but I mean, the thing is for WEDGM, a lot rests on his shoulders. He is carrying the team morale. He does need to get a win. And I think if he loses here, WEDGM will capitulate in the 1v1 sets. I don't think we're going to go see a game 4 if Solomon loses to KK here. Sorry, a set 4. But anyway, KK in blue at the bottom, Solomon in red at the top. Solomon is on death's door. His team are almost on the verge of losing this King of the Hill. Ponos are 2-1 up, and KK is an absolute machine when it comes to Clash Royale. So Solomon has a lot of work ahead of him. Magic Archer played
Royal
at the
Hogs
back.
with the log.
It's going to get poisoned out, though.
That's what Solomon is also thinking.
There are the Royal Hogs. Heal Spirit played behind. Barb Hut 1 does sneak through, and it's not going to hit the Barb Barrel. Too slow to catch the Heal Spirit, so some damage going to get done, but that's a huge elixir investment on the side of Solomon. That's just nearly shut down completely from those Royal Hogs.
And Solomon, I think this is another graveyard setup with the Barb Hut.
Cannon card here unscathed as it just chews away at these barbs. Still at full health, the Mega Minion is going to kind of ruin that, but the Hunter... Oh, it's in range!
Cannon.
It's in range! There's nothing here! Solomon has kind of collapsed, and that Barb Hut is just way too late! 3 Hogs are ripping that tower to shreds, and you can see Solomon looks absolutely shook right now. Absolute collapse of the defense.
I lost my words.
Solomon's defense completely collapsed there.
I think Solomon was thinking too much about the cycle or about the upcoming cards of KK.
Tried to be a bit too efficient, and efficiency comes at a cost for Solomon. Hogs come down again. The Barb Hut should be good. Heal Spirit's there. This time it does catch all of them. The Barb Barrel this time again. This time going a little bit more favorably for Solomon. The Barb Barrel did catch the Heal Spirit, and a Graveyard comes down. That is what he gets this time for dealing with it a lot. That's his reward. But Cannon Cart, Magic Archer are just going to absolutely defend the absolute living heck out of that graveyard.
Only a couple hundred from that graveyard, less than 300 in total. Here comes Royal Hogs again, destroying through that bar pot, but still is in a big lead with that.
Doubles up on the Cannon Carts. Here we go. Now this is a little bit rough. Cannon Cart's out of cycle. So he's going to have to defend this really well. The graveyard's getting a couple hits in, and there is a Mega Minion posturing here. And that's going to get quite a lot of damage.
Yeah, the Barbarian reaches the tower, gets a second shot. Not reaching the third, but still.
This is where KK's last card is Lightning, and he's been toying with his opponent the whole time. Poison comes down. Magic Archer gets one, gets two, gets three. And that is that. KK cleans this game up 3-1. King of the Hill goes the way of Ponos, who are now one set away from a grand final.
So that's 2-0 down. Going back into the game, though, I think Solomon did not expect Royal Hogs to be back that early. I think he wanted some better setup with the bar putt later on when there was Fisherman after the Heal Spirit and after very likely recruits along with it, or even some Royal Ghost.
Yeah, the Cannon Cart sneaking through, I think, actually caught Solomon by surprise. He was expecting the Knight there to tank up the Cannon Cart, and if that was the case, it would have been a very different result. But unfortunately, he connected into the tower, and those Hogs also connected. And look how flustered Solomon is at that point. We used to talk about the head shake of Solomon, but we very rarely saw him touch the back of his neck like that. It's like, I want to hit the escape button, but if I do, I'll probably get fined.
Solomon had Musketeer long time ago. We won't know 100% what exactly went down for Solomon, but maybe if you are thinking about the next steps.
Yeah. Sometimes you get too lost thinking of the steps ahead and you don't really appreciate the now. And yeah, that's
all there was for King of the Hill. I mean, that's Ponos 2-0 now.
And all right, I said it before, I think WEDGM now have a mammoth task ahead of them. Not only do WEDGM have to climb through three probably the best 1v1 players this league has to offer, they have to overcome the absolute mental devastation of being 2-0'd with a 3 crown in that 2v2.
So basically, WEDGM, they have to have Higher and Solomon in set 3-4 position.
But even if they do, I mean, what are they going to do? Even if they have Higher Solomon coming up set 3, set 4, both of those players have already been destroyed by KK, who you can guarantee will come in either set 3 or set 4 if we get there.
And there's Mugi.
80%, 8-2. And then you look at WEDGM, who have had playoffs to contend with, so they have more 1v1s. It's going to be KK. No punches pulled here.
No mercy.
Who's it going to be against, though? That's the question. If it's Solomon or Higher, then WEDGM.
Solomon.
No, it's Higher.
Oh, okay.
Come on, man. There's two very different people.
Just slipped my head for a second.
So these two met game 3, and KK kind of slapped that game around a little bit. This is a best of 3 1v1. Then we haven't seen KK play one of these in a very, very long time. When was the last time KK played a 1v1? Did he play?
No, he did not play a 1v1.
The last time he played a 1v1 set was Special Season. And during the Special Season, because there was no Mugi, he played quite a bit. He went 3-1 in the 1v1 set. Scores 6-5 in terms of games. So, yeah. Going to be interesting to see if the lack of 1v1 best of 3s is going to come into effect here, or if KK is going to continue to dominate WEDGM the way he has.
And barrel.
When was the last time we saw KK play Goblin Barrel? Feels like forever ago.
2019 Grand Final Spring. Game 3.
You know, I think you're actually right. We haven't seen it this season.
Or might have been Game 4. But the final game before a loss.
He has not played it this season at all. And is bringing Spellbait back into the forefront of our minds. Dark Goblin played high at the bridge. Battle Healer.
Yep, eager with the Battle Healer.
The Battle Healer is out. Dark Goblin's going to do what Dark Goblin does, and that's just absolutely chew through everything. One Goblin again here, only surviving.
Only Barb Barrel to really deal with that Goblin Barrel. Has to use this poison.
The Princess absolutely cleaning up house here. KK seems to have the better cycle. He seems to have the better cards to counter what Hire has played so far.
And the fact that KK has Prince. One thing that Battle Healer is really weak against. Big single target damage.
Yep. Dark Goblin here gonna help chew through the Mega Minion with the help of the Rascal Girls. Dark Goblin also with that log is gonna be able to almost survive. But here we have
the Rascal Girls and the Prince connects.
Yep. KK just has he just has a much better cycle. And has an answer to everything that Hire puts down.
There's no exact good ground unit against the Prince right now. Wins big this time.
Princess doing what Princess does and surviving Rocket. Oh. KK making this look far too easy. This looks... KK's making it look just child's play.
With the Rascals there, with the poison gone. Just reading every move of Hire. Giving no chance of getting anything done with the Graveyard. Now here it comes with the poison bar. Dark Goblin ready from the back.
Yep, and that Dark Goblin will survive it. It's currently not in poison range. Now it is. It's going to take a couple of ticks, but nothing massive. Rocket in again.
That's game for KK.
Game 1 going KK's way. And I mean, all right, you look at that. Does it look as though we're one game away from Ponos making it to the Grand Finals? That looked like a regular season match that KK, you know, was just like, oh, all right, well, I'll play this one, don't worry. There was just nothing. There was no resistance really from Hire. He never really got an aggressive push going at all. KK was completely unchallenged.
And because of the updated AI, the Mugi version that we had for a long time, almost forgot about our solid superstar machine, KK.
I mean, Hire really didn't put up much of a fight.
Yeah, and Prince. What a choice.
Everything about what KK brings here just shuts down anything that Hire could do. The Dark Goblin for the Battle Healer and the Graveyard. The Princess for everything, because Princess has kind of been under the radar a lot in a lot of decks lately.
Yes.
Still a good card.
Only basically coming out in Spellbaits.
Like we just saw.
Because of the Goblin Barrel, kept the Barbarian Barrel from Hire all the way from the back, not allowing to connect with the Graveyard anytime.
Well, I mean, KK now could pretty much play anything, I think he's going to win. I think the spine, the backbone of WEDGM has been shattered. But Higher, this is Clash Royale. Higher could come back Game 2, Game 3 and kickstart the revolution for WEDGM because they are a team that are destined to always finish second. That is their curse. They are destined to always finish second, so...
Well, Ponos is about to cure the curse right now against WEDGM. I mean, bring any kind of spell or curse against Ponos. They are going to take care of most of it. I mean, strength that Ponos has, it cannot be contained by any spell right now.
The strength that KK has, just Ponos in general have, just cannot be contained by anything in the known universe and beyond. They are just far too good at this game.
You might be looking at the world champion of 2020 already. As here we go, match point for Ponos.
Big claim there, G-Clef. I look forward to you trying to eat those words later on.
I'll put them in my stomach. Keep it in my stomach.
All right, so here we go. Royal Ghost, Ewiz, Royal Ghost, Ewiz. So it's looking like
RG from both.
Yep. Which isn't terrible for Higher. It is very possible to nick it when you're playing RG versus RG. Just double check. Higher has played something like this season. Ooh.
Not with the P.E.K.K.A though.
Yeah, I'm thinking now maybe it's more bridge spam, but KK kind of suffering here. There's a lot of potential damage coming into the tower. Baby Dragon, Fisherman, Royal Ghost. That tower, I think, is down and Higher might just be starting the comeback.
Good activation, but still down to 5-5. Not a good number for an activation.
There is an RG. Real Spirit's there too, but that's going to get caught by that barb. Barrel. That's the word I was looking for. RG gets a couple of shots in 2026 coming in. Can Higher turn this ship around?
Starting to look like it.
Definitely is. I mean, WEDGM was starting to sink right into the ocean, and somehow Higher has the superhuman strength to just pull it back up nose first. But he's got to get through this game. He's got to close it out. 5-2-5 on that tower. RG played on the right-hand side. Heal comes in late this time, so it avoids the bar barrel. Does heal up the RG, so it's going to get a lot done. Is there anything here to distract this P.E.K.K.A from getting into KK's left-hand side? It's one shot comes in. 2 shots. And Higher just absolutely turning this one around. RG played on the right, though.
P.E.K.K.A immediately on the bridge, but this RG will get a few shots in.
It is not over yet.
Good pull from the... Ooh, great pull from the Fisherman there. Letting it
That's
one more.
tower down. Higher needs to finish this soon.
Red Rider's here. Fireball might be quicker though.
It's gonna be. 3, 2, 1. Fireball needs to come down now. Lightning. But the Fireball, the Royal Ghost, it doesn't matter. KK steals it from Higher and closes it out.
What just happened? That's exactly what happened, KK.
Is he frozen there? I mean,
no.
Oh.
3-0, a steal from KK. WEDGM, they've used all their strength through the playoff. Through the loser's bracket and faces against the champion from the regular season.
The craziest thing about that, KK was down so far, we were like, okay, let's get ready for game 3. Higher has it. And then he almost gets both towers down.
With P.E.K.K.A shots, 2 shots on the left.
So that RG getting the heal, the delay of the heal spirit there was super important.
Right?
But again, he lets this P.E.K.K.A get 2 hits.
There was another moment with KK's Fisherman on all the way to from the right, dragging P.E.K.K.A. Yeah, that left side was crazy. And then the Fisherman on the right pulling P.E.K.K.A with the heal spirit there.
Yeah, unfortunately he didn't catch the RG, but it didn't matter. Now look at this. 98-442. Which tower goes down next? If you freeze frame that and show it to someone, you're like, okay, top right's going down. The left went down. He has Fireball in hand. MVP of the night, though, you cannot argue with this, surely. Anyone out there who thinks KK doesn't deserve MVP, I don't know how you would come to that conclusion. That was... How? How did he do that? He was in such a bad position. He took 2 P.E.K.K.A shots to the tower. He was down. He was out.
The best part about tonight, we did not get to see Mugi.
Oh, I forgot. Somewhere out there, there's like a chamber with one of those turny wheel vault things, and Mugi is just sitting in there hovering as he's levitating, just, you know, meditating on Clash Royale. And someone just knocks on the window, "Not today, Mugi," and he just continues in his deep meditation. But holy heck, KK was unreal. How did it happen? Anyway, to confirm today's results, 3-2, Nova beats Fav, and then Ponos shows why they are the regular season #1 place and cleaned up the awards as they 3-0'd.
And
WEDGM.
we have the results and the grand final for the season. It is going to be Nova Esports versus Ponos.
Yep, and the 3rd and 4th match, you call me leaning back in my chair after I said, the 3rd and 4th match will probably be first, and then it will be the grand finals. That Nova versus Ponos match, there is a part of me that is sitting here going, if Ponos do that to WEDGM, Ponos will absolutely slap the taste out of Nova's mouth. But Nova are really, really good this season. Really good.
Really good.
But are they on the same astronomical level that Ponos are? You got to watch tomorrow because that is going to be crazy good.
It is going to be insane. And depending on any type of matchup, it just has to be good regardless of which player they face against. Every player is so good from Nova. Every player is so good from Ponos. Still, we did not get to see Mugi. Maybe tomorrow. Still best of 5 continues.
Just let him rest. He doesn't need to. With KK playing in this form and doing what he just did, why do you need anyone else?
Yeah,
Unreal performance.
Rather much quicker day than we thought. The first match, like 2 hours and maybe a little more, but the second match, this Ponos slashing through 3-0. Done.
All right, guys. We'll be back tomorrow with the losers final and... losers final. 3rd and 4th place and the grand final tomorrow. Do not miss it as we find out who is going to be the champion of CRL East full season. We'll see you tomorrow.